Reams in red for Temple. It's the second home game for the Owls this season, and it's in the direction of Randall Jones. Will sail into the end zone for a touchback, so Temple will begin their first offensive possession from the 25, and that means, Ken, we will see Trad Beatty for the second consecutive week as the starting quarterback. That's because Anthony Russo missing the second consecutive game due to a shoulder injury.
Well, Beatty's going to be out there first. We expect to see Real Mitchell backing him up. And then, according to Coach Carey, he's going to go with the guy that has a hot hand. Beatty's going to get the first crack at it.
Beatty completed his first career pass last game at Tulane. It was a loss for this Temple team, 38-3, the worst defeat in the Rod Carey era. Tavon Ruley's in the backfield, but they go out wide. The first catch completed to Randall Jones in his room, trying to beat Cromartie. And it's Jones in a foot race to the 20, and he beats Cromartie. And the first play and a first career touchdown from Beatty to Randall Jones.
Now that's the way to start a football game.
75 yards as Randall Jones has his second touchdown of the season.
Simple swing pass to the outside. You can see Randall Jones makes one guy miss. A good block on the outside by Brandon Mack, and he's off to the races. Could not be a better start for this Temple program, who took it on the chin last week against Tulane. Rory
Bell is in for the extra point. Took the kicking duties last week over Will Mobley, and Rory Bell makes it a superb. But he missed it wide right there, so he misses the extra point. So we'll stay at 6-0 in favor of Temple. But how about that first play? Trad Beatty, like you said, Kenny, he has a lot of mechanics. The lefty swinging it out to Jones, so there was terrific blocks in front of him.
Yeah, good blocking, and again, a pretty simple play. Coaches love the fact that when you get a speed player in space, they make people miss, and that's exactly what happened on that play.
So we'll see. Again, the plan was to bring in Real Mitchell in the second series, but one play and a touchdown. We'll see if that will stand and if Mitchell will get some time. We're expecting to see Mitchell in this game, but Rory Bell will come out. Again, he's handling all the kickoff duties. And how about this run after the catch by Randall Jones? They say he's the most complete wide receiver of this Temple team.
He's showing off some speed there. The DB actually had an angle on him, but Jones was able to get by him and get it in the end zone. Good start for the Temple Owls.
But now you're about to see one of the most explosive offenses, not only in the American Conference, but also the country, as Bell misses his first extra point attempt of the season. Took off the kickoff duties in the Memphis game 2 games ago. And he's ready to kick it away to Brian Massey of SMU. Massey pivots to his left. It's taken instead by Page, the upman, at the 5-yard line as a block in front. And he's brought down inside the 15-yard line, and that means we will see one of the best quarterbacks in the country in Shane Buechele, who's second nationally in passing yards, only behind Dylan Gabriel of UCF.
Yeah, this guy's got a real resume. He actually started as a freshman at the University of Texas, wound up here at SMU, and if you look at his stats, completion percentage, touchdowns, interceptions, he's a quality player that might play on Sundays soon.
Had a terrific game against Navy, where he was 23 of 28 for 300 yards. Accompanied that with 3 touchdowns. In the backfield is a young player to keep an eye out for throughout the afternoon in Ulysses Bentley. He leads the conference in rushing. Page is in motion here for SMU, and the first give is to Bentley. He evades one man in Myjay and rushed out of bounds for a minimal gain. Again, they'll rotate both backs as well. Bentley along with Tyler Levine. It's a team in SMU that has 4 wide receivers who have amassed over 300 yards. They have a terrific offensive line who has totaled 114 career starts, with the exception of their right guard. It's either Osborne or Irvin you'll see there today. Again, the second give is to Bentley. They say he's a fantastic finisher, as he's brought down inside the 25-yard line by the freshman Alex Odom. And Ken, the theme for Temple, there's a lot of guys out in the secondary and also up front for the Owls. They're working quick on tempo. It's out wide again, and it's Danny Green who just comes back in. Gray missed the last game due to injury. He's done a nice job filling the void of Reggie Robertson. Danny Gray has his first catch of the afternoon.
Yeah, this SMU team is really good at running tempo. Offense coordinator Garrett Riley has done a great job of getting these players up to the line and running a quick play.
So they'll continue this tempo here, and they go to the near side of the field to Rice. Makes one man miss in Braswell. Had a terrific game last game for a pickup of 5 to Rashee Rice.
Braswell just a consistent performer for the Temple Owls. Nice tackle in the open field.
Become methodical. This offense works here under Shane Buechele. He's a transfer from Texas. Started his year 2016 to 18 to Texas. Opted to come to SMU. He's at his second year in Dallas to be closer to home. Going to go out wide again, and it's incomplete on the far side of the field. They were looking that time for Calvin Wiggins, the freshman.
They had 2 wide receivers on the right, and Buechele decides to throw it left into single coverage. Throws a good ball. The receiver just can't come down with it.
And Linwood Crump does a great job in coverage, who did not play last game. They're without Freddie Johnson due to a hamstring injury. Elijah Clark in the secondary for Temple is out, mired by COVID protocol. It's 3rd and 5 here for SMU. Page in motion. 3 wide receivers set here for the Mustangs, looking for their 7th win. Buechele, plenty of time, has Gray again, and he has the first down as he gets past Crump. That will move the sticks for the Mustangs.
They are going to move the chains, even though he came down before the line to gain. They gave him forward progress there.
It's an SMU team that beat Navy by 14. It was a terrific bounce-back win after being ousted by now number 6 Cincinnati, 42-13. Team right now coming in at number 18 under Sonny Dykes in his 3rd year on the hilltop. Buechele again on 1st and 10. Plenty of protection as Granson is tight end for a first down and more. And he gets to the 30-yard line inside Temple territory as he's brought down by Braswell. Ken, that's their big target who gets downfield in Granson.
Yeah, Granson is just a tremendous tight end. When we talked to the coaching staff, they said he was the weapon that they most feared, and this is an offense that has a lot of weapons.
Granson, in fact, hasn't scored a touchdown in the last 4 games, but they said that he had a terrific bounce-back game as well in the Navy game from the Cincinnati contest. And look for him to play a big role for Buechele and company. Fakes the handoff again on play action, floating in for the end zone, and incomplete. He overshot a converted quarterback to now wide receiver in Austin Upshaw.
Yeah, surprising that Buechele doesn't hit that wide open wide receiver. What they're doing is they're running a stack formation with the wide receivers on the right, and they try to rub off of each other. That time it worked. The receiver got open. Buechele just didn't hit the target.
2nd and 10 on Temple's 29 for Buechele, who's 4 of 6 of the game on the read option again. Here's Bentley inside the 25-yard line. Again, this Temple team is missing a slew of players out of the linebacking core. Isaiah Graham Mobley is out. George Reed is going to play a big role at that weak side linebacker position along with Will Quinku.
Well, losing Isaiah Graham Mobley is a big loss, but the coaching staff here really does love George Reed, the way he plays the game.
It's another 3rd down for SMU. They're 2 of 2 on 3rd downs here. It's 3rd and 5 for Buechele. Quickly out to the slot guy. Page makes one man miss. He has the first down and more. Here's Tyler Page, and he's in. Touchdown, SMU. And that's his first touchdown of the season as SMU strikes right back.
Again, the same way Temple scored, you got to make somebody miss, right? Right there, the receiver makes a nice move on the DB who overcommits, is able to get untouched into the end zone.
Chris Nagar on for the extra point. The grad transfer from Texas handles the kickoff, field goals, and also the punting duties for Sonny Dykes and his SMU team. This is one of the best kickers across the nation, and the kick is through for SMU. So number 18 Mustangs strike right back thanks to Tyler Page, who had 6 catches for 61 yards against Navy. Good catch and run here. 24-yard scamper after the catch. SMU up by 1 over Temple.
We were being called pussycats.
We'll remember that night in Tokyo.
Oh, look at you.
Hey!
Enormous in
All
as
right,
well.
calm yourself.
I never picked the test team correctly. Remember, yeah.
Terrific drive by Shane Buechele, who's third in the conference in passing. He has already amassed over 2,200 yards this year alone. And speaking with the coaching staff, they said that he's creating a lot more with his feet. And on third down, where he was so successful in that first drive for SMU, he's calm and collected, naturally throws the deep ball, but checking down when appropriate. 5 of 7 for 71 yards in that touchdown to Page. So Nagar will kick off. Jones and Reams are back deep for Temple. Both teams scoring to start this first quarter, different from their previous matchups against Tulane and Navy respectively. Nagar again into the end zone will be a touchback, and Temple will have it at the 25. So we'll see who comes out of this second series. Again, the plan was to give Real Mitchell, who's great on read options, especially with his feet. And we'll see if Mitchell comes in for Beatty.
Well, if you go 1-for-1 with a 75-yard touchdown to get replaced, Rod Carey's really going to stick to his game plan.
And he is, with Trad Beatty from Columbia, South Carolina, recruited by Jeff Collins, part of the prior staff. Of course, Manny Diaz was named the coach that took the job with Miami. Ruley is in the backfield. Important story to note, Ramon Davis, their leading rusher, left the program on Wednesday. Quick play to Jones again, second consecutive catch, and for an 11-yard gain, has a first down as he's taken down by Chevin Calloway of SMU.
Pretty good start for Beatty. Simple pitch and catch. Wide open receiver, gets a first down.
They say he's very calm, composed. You'll notice he'll clap to get his offensive personnel set, led by their offensive coordinator, Mike Uremovich. It's Ruley again running on the outside tackle here, but he's brought down by Richard McBride and company. And a good play by Denbo. Denbo, in fact, was a linebacker, safety, now has pivoted back to a linebacker, and of course, he punted for SMU last year. So, multifaceted guy for Sonny Dykes and his team. You know, a lot of people talk about SMU's offense. Their defense, 6 interceptions, 8 forced fumbles, 19 sacks as well. 2nd and 11. Quickly to Jones yet again. Met right away by Brandon Stevens. He's their big guy in the secondary, the senior from Plano, Texas.
Wow, what a hit. Brandon Stevens able to sniff that one out and punish the wide receiver.
And Jones is down. Be an official timeout here. We'll step aside as well. It's 7-6 SMU, and we'll be back in just a moment.
We were being called pussycats.
We'll remember that night in Tokyo.
Oh, look at you.
Hey!
Enormous.
All right, calm yourself.
I never picked the test team correctly. Remember? Yeah.
This has been the theme for Temple this season, and a lot of players out today, along with Graham Mobley and Freddie Johnson. Pittman is out, their top 2 tight ends, and there's Randall Jones. Got hit in the ribs, and he walked off under his own power. Great to see. The first third down attempt here for Beatty off his back foot. Has his man out of the backfield. It's Ruley, and shut down immediately by Callaway, Denbo. Also, Wiley was there, a trio of players for the Mustangs, and they'll force Adam Barry to punt it away for Temple.
And that was well defended there. Trevor Denbo, very athletic player. They ran a little pick route, and Denbo was able to get over the top and make the tackle.
So Adam Barry will punt it away. Has 15 punts this year, averages over 41 yards per punt. And back is Tyler Page. It's a low line drive kick. Page will field it on a hop at the 21-yard line. Makes one man miss, has a blocker in front. Trying to get to the 30-yard line, pushed away by Temple's Archibong. And we'll see Shane Buechele back on for the offense of this SMU team, who struck first to start the game. If you're just joining us, to Tyler Page. Amongst the teams, it is the 7th meeting between the schools. Yes, there have been 2 ties in this series, back in '42 and also in the late '40s as well. Last year it was all SMU in Dallas. In fact, Buechele threw for over 450 yards, which was a career high, and 6 touchdowns. This is the first game between the 2 in Philadelphia since 2016, where Temple prevailed by 24. Buechele again working with Bentley. Play action, he rolls right. Pocket collapsing off his back foot, has Granson wide open, and he overshot Granson. It was terrific pressure up front by Efine Maije for Temple.
Interesting. Looked like Buechele rushed that a little bit. Granson came open late. If he puts a little bit of air under that ball, he's got a touchdown. Watch. Feels the pressure from behind. Has to get rid of it a little bit early. Boy, you hate to miss a receiver that's open by 5 yards.
They bring in one of their backup tight ends in Tommy McIntyre for SMU. Again, it's a give to Bentley. Smashed right away by Temple's Amir Tyler coming off the edge. The redshirt senior leads that young secondary due to a couple injuries with Johnson out.
Amir Tyler, good job of sniffing out the run. Comes into the game with 22 tackles. He's a force for this Temple defense.
A 3rd and 12 here for Buechele. Bentley still in the game, a 4 wide receiver set. Keep an eye on Rice, bottom of your screen. They're missing Reggie Robertson, got hurt in the Memphis game along with their other running back and TJ McDaniel. They're both done for the year. Buechele has Granson again. This time he has him inside Temple territory right before Braswell can get there.
And here they go. They're going to rush it up to the line. You can see this play develop. Really good route running here, again, by all the receivers, but especially Granson, who's been wide open a couple of times today. He's a big-time threat at tight end.
34-yard pass play from Buechele to Granson. Wiggins comes into the game, top of your screen for SMU in white. 1st and 10 for the Temple 35. It's Bentley, but Quenku has other thoughts. Just past the 45-yard line and brought down at the 47. And it's a tough day today for Quenku, Ken, because Isaiah Graham-Mobley is done for the year. He's out. Rigby is also out as well due to injury, and Jordan McGee is not available, so he's playing with young kids around him.
Absolutely. The linebacking core here for Temple has been decimated by injuries, and they're all a little bit light in the defensive backfield as well.
Empty set here for Buechele. On 2nd and 8 for the Temple 33. Page is in the slot on a 4 wide receiver set, trips to the top. Again, they go to Page, who bobbles it. And Evan Cady, the closest player there for Temple. And Ken, when speaking to the coaching staff from the Owls, they said they must win the line of scrimmage today on both sides of the ball.
That was a bone of contention for Rod Carey. He did not like the way his offensive and defensive lines performed against Tulane. And he said, for this game, we may not win the line of scrimmage, but we're darn sure not going to lose it.
Tyler Levine comes into the game. Here's the split backs and Rod Carey wanting to see his team try to pull off an upset here against the number 18 ranked team in the country. Granson now comes in into the slot. Buechele on 3rd and 8. Plenty of protection, has Gray. And Gray leaps and makes a backholder catch, and it's incomplete. He was out of bounds there. It was covered by Linwood Crump. And it will set up a 4th and 8. Let's see what SMU does.
Good coverage there by Crump. Again, Temple brings pressure, means one-on-one in the backfield, and the receiver there, number 5 for SMU, that is Danny Gray, who was out last week with a hand injury, makes a nice adjustment to the ball. He just couldn't get his 1 foot in bounds.
And Ken, they're going for it on 4th and 8. They'll get the call from Garrett Riley, their offensive coordinator, who came over from App State, did a terrific job there in his first year, calling the plays for Sonny Dykes and the Mustangs. You're on 4th and 8. They've been very good on 4th down this year. Buechele tried to escape one man, and he's brought down again just past the 40-yard line. Terrific tackle by Manny Walker, who switches with Evan Boozer, and that will be a turnover on downs for the Owls. And what a great start defensively here against Shane Buechele, and a stand on 4th down. Manny Walker with his first sack of the game.
We were being called pussycats.
We'll remember that night in Tokyo.
Oh, look at you.
Hey!
Enormous
All
as
right,
well.
calm yourself.
I never picked the test team correctly. Yeah.
Midway through the first quarter in Philadelphia, SMU leads by 1. Temple here, the first time Temple having some fans, limited at 7,500. Beatty is out for the first time. We will see Real Mitchell, the transfer from Iowa State, in the backfield, and quickly they go over on a shovel pass and across the 40-yard line. Temple's going to find Jaden Blue for his first touch of the game. Sometimes they use Randall Jones in those jet sweeps. But Real Mitchell is now playing his 2nd game for Temple. Backs up Beatty here. Came from Iowa State after he was backing up Brock Purdy at ISU. Very lethal on the ground, but yes, he's a guy that's capable of throwing as well. Here he is on the read option again. Gets past one man, brought down by McBride across midfield again. That's what Real Mitchell can possess throughout this game for Temple.
Yeah, when he's in the game, the SMU defense is going to have to be ready for that quarterback option because his threat as a quarterback is his ability to run.
And with Davis leaving the program, again, he's Temple's leading rusher, decided to move closer to home. He's done entering the transfer portal. Mitchell now, by factor, is the second top rusher on this Temple team. Again, he's on for his first series. And again, the call is for Mitchell trying to get past Delano Robinson, who was right in his way, along with Wiley. Richard McBride with 6 tackles next. Last game as well was there. Nelson Paul got some pressure too for SMU.
Yeah, their Temple goes empty backfield with motion trying to distract the defense, but SMU was ready for the quarterback run that time.
There's Sonny Dykes in his third year on the Hilltop, an impressive 16-4 the last 20 games. Last year he led the Mustangs to a 10-3 season, winning the most games since 1984. As a top 13 passing offense and a top 7 total offense. Mitchell opting to throw this time. Has his man on a sliding catch made into SMU territory again. And it's Devon Fox, who's been a contributor on special teams, a redshirt freshman, a field cutter on special teams, getting some time as a wideout.
Good patience there by Mitchell and great protection by the offensive line, giving him time to go through his progressions.
12-yard gain will move the sticks into SMU territory. Ruley's in the backfield with Real Mitchell. Working with his center, C.J. Perez. They want more from him today. It's Mitchell out to the right, gets a good block in front by Neese. Down inside the 25-yard line again, just past Elijah Chapman of SMU. Another first down.
Well, when Rod Carey said they weren't going to lose the line of scrimmage, he wasn't kidding. They actually won that battle that time, and Mitchell just takes it, finds a crease, makes a nice gain out of it.
Picozzi comes in the game for Cadis Reams. So Mitchell working with Ruley. They have Mack, who hasn't had any touches so far. Ruley's going to be split out wide here for Mitchell. Into the flat, it's Ruley. Past Denbo, Ruley across the 20. Dragged down again by McBride at the 19-yard line.
Really good block on the outside there by Jaden Blue. Was able to take down a potential tackler. Was able to make that play work.
Donald Clay into the game in the secondary. Now comes off for the Mustangs. Their DC is Kevin Kane, who was actually on the staff with Rod Carey's team at Northern Illinois, where they won multiple MAC championships. Ruley still in the game. Mack now splitting out wide to the right. Here for Mitchell. Get another read option. It's Ruley again. Scampers across the 15. Brought down once more by Richard McBride, the senior out of Troy, Alabama.
Temple doing a really good job of implementing these run packages for Real Mitchell. You would think that SMU would have been more ready for it because they knew Russo was going to be out and Mitchell was going to get a fair amount of playing time at quarterback today.
Well, they have 6 in the box now to counter defensively for SMU. You'll see them in a lot of nickel, 3-3-5, but sometimes Kane, the DC for SMU, will mix it up with 4 down linemen. And here's Mitchell with an empty backfield here. First and 10, high snap, has it over to Stevenson, who was hurt a moment ago. Made one man miss in Cromartie, and just shy of the 5-yard line.
Good job of mixing in a pass there so the SMU defense doesn't get too much run stop happy. What they did last week against Navy was they crowded the line of scrimmage. They had 5, 6, 7 people in the box, and you may see them do that against Temple if Real Mitchell continues to have success on the ground.
2nd and 3 here for Mitchell and the Owls. Motion again is Fox, and it's Mitchell, though, on the read option. Advances up to the 5-yard line. Stopped in front by Chapman and company for SMU. When Dukeway, Chapman, and Lovelace, they lost a lot, SMU, on the D-line and also in the secondary. Those stalwarts are in that linebacking core with Denbo, McBride, and Robinson. Kevin Kane told us prior to this game that they're just prone to getting a lot of turnovers and creating some to get their offense, and Shane Buechele back on the field. That allows them to be so successful. It's 3rd and 2. It's the 10th play of the drive for Mitchell. They're going to go right to Ruley, who gets past Robinson and company. And as the first down for Temple will be 1st and goal, thanks to the run by Ruley, as McBride wrapped him up for SMU.
Good second effort here by Ruley. If you look, he was able to make the first guy miss, falls forward for the first down. Now Temple is in business here on the goal line. They're running about 76% red zone scores and 52% touchdowns. They really need to punch it in here.
In motion is Blue on the option again. It's Ruley reaching for the plane, and it's a touchdown for Temple. Tavon Ruley has his first rushing touchdown of the season.
It's a good way for the Temple football team to say goodbye to Ray Davis. Not sure why he would leave his team in the middle of the season, but if Tavon Ruley is going to run like that, they're going to be happy they have him back there.
All right, Bell's going to have another try at an extra point. He missed the first one to start the game, and this one is right through for Rory Bell. But how about Tavon Ruley and the job that he does without Davis, working with 2 different quarterbacks, and they're going to need a lot of production, Ken, out of Ruley moving forward.
It's really important against an SMU team that you figure are going to score a fair amount of points today to be able to punch it in the end zone. And Ruley right there showed me some grit and some tenacity. 2 good runs, was able to punch it in, give Temple the lead.
And how about this, Ken? Now that this Temple team scores in 2 out of 3 series so far on offense, I'm sure a lot of people, when looking at this game, might not have expected that.
Well, they struggled last week against Tulane, but I tell you, character players and character coaches, they're able to rally. Anybody can have a bad game. Anybody can have a bad Saturday, but the key is how you respond. And when I heard Rod Carey talking about how he was mandating his offensive line and defensive line to not lose those battles, it said to me that they were really going to give a maximum effort in this football game.
Also have to give credit to the quarterback coach and Craig Harmon of Temple with Russo out. Again, if you're just joining us, Russo not playing due to a shoulder injury sustained in the Memphis game where he set a career high in passing yards, but he's out. Had 17 straight starts. That was snapped. Beatty started the game, then Real Mitchell just came in. Ruley had the touchdown. Here's Bell to kick it off in the direction of Massey. That's going to be a legal kick out of bounds. Ball will advance to the 35-yard line. Our referee today is Charles Lamartina.
Free kick out of bounds on the kicking team. SMU has elected to take the ball at the 35-yard line. First down.
That's a bad start for Temple kicker Rory Bell. He misses an extra point, now kicks the ball out of bounds, giving SMU the football at the 35-yard line.
Rod Carey, though, has to be pleased with the start, at least on offense, but they want to succeed on all 3 levels. At 11 plays, 61 yards, and close to a 6-minute drive. But that means Buechele and company will come back out for the Mustangs, who are down by 6. It's the 3rd highest scoring offense in the American, only behind UCF and Cincinnati.
Diamond formation here.
You see a lot of this, and the pistol will be Bentley, who gets the call on that left side, wrapped up immediately by Cuenco. How deceptive, Ken, is that diamond formation for SMU?
Well, it can be effective. You can run it out of the diamond formation. You can actually motion out of it, and doesn't give the defense to be able to stack one side or another. So they like it. They ran it a lot against Navy last week, and they're showing it here again today.
Chauncey Moore comes in the game into the secondary for this Temple team, playing with a lot of reserves all over the defensive unit. Manny Walker also stays in at DN. Buechele didn't check down, goes over the middle, has Page across the 40, and Page gets near to midfield as he's brought down by Christian Braswell and Jalen Ware. But another big play by Tyler Page. Great game so far on a 15-yard catch and run.
Tyler Page, great routes, good hands, nice job there.
Bentley, block in front by Justin Osborne. He's that right guard. That's the part of the line that's been a little bit of inexperience compared to the others. So Osborne will switch with Irvin, but Bentley, the coaches said, what impresses them the most is the finishing, how he punishes guys at the end of runs.
Yeah, he runs really hard. He had a great game last week against Navy, and Navy historically is a tough team to run against.
149 yards, 2 touchdowns. Levine had 2 TDs as well. Braswell trying to jump in there along with George Reed to come up with the stop. And Temple's DC and Jeff Knowles told us that they want more production. We mentioned how they want to dominate the line of scrimmage, but that starts on the inside, Ken, with Archibong and Mindjay. They're their 2 single-digit guys. They need more production with them moving forward. So that will take us to the end of the first quarter in Philadelphia, and it's been a great start for Temple, leading by 6 over SMU. Well, we see 2 different quarterbacks for Temple today in Beatty and Mitchell. Randall Jones on the first play of the game had a touchdown, then Tyler Page answered as well. But the difference is the Tavon Ruley run, a 3-yard scamper, gives Temple the lead after 1 frame in Philly.
We were being called pussycats.
We'll remember that night in Tokyo.
Oh, look at you.
Hey!
Enormous
All right, calm yourself.
I never picked the test team correctly. Remember, yeah.
Start of the second quarter in Philadelphia. It's Temple leading number 18 SMU by 6. 2 scores for the Owls. Ruley had the last one for Temple. It's a 3rd and 8 for Buechele. Levine in the backfield here for SMU. Buechele steps up, trying to get past Archibong off his back foot, incomplete. Archibong and Ebikadi had the pressure, and it will force the punting unit and Chris Nagar, who handles everything on special teams for SMU.
How about the big man, Daniel Archibong, chasing down Buechele. Archibong 6'6", 300. He's able to rush the quarterback out of the pocket and make him throw an incompletion.
Nagar will punt it away to Willie Erdman, the grad transfer from Georgia. He's been back on punt return since last game. It's a high spinning one, and it's a fair cut at the 13-yard line. In fact, Temple hasn't returned a punt all year. Their fair catches, the ones that sailed in the end zone for a touchback. We'll be back after this.
We were being called pussycats.
We'll remember that night in Tokyo.
Oh, look at you.
Hey!
Enormous
All right, calm yourself.
I never picked the test team correctly. Remember, yeah.
Back in Philadelphia, and welcome back to the Temple Cheerleaders and Spirit Squad, along with the fan cutouts here at Lincoln Financial Field. First time Temple is having fans at a limited capacity. Ken Dunnick and our entire ESPN crew. Dave Leno on the call. Temple leading by 6. So we're just getting started our second quarter. Beatty back into the game looking for Blue. There's knocked down there. Good defensive play by Donald Clay. Was stride for stride with Jaden Blue. Beatty today 3 of 5. Second career start for him. Again, no Anthony Russo. Beatty was behind a slew of players recruited by the prior staff at Temple, getting some time along with Real Mitchell. Beatty again working with Ruley in the backfield. A good cut to the outside, makes 2-man miss, trying to beat Robinson and Haley. And it's a good burst there by Tavon Ruley, getting some time for the Owls.
Well, you saw him get his nose dirty on the goal line right there. He makes a nice cut outside. Watch this, nothing doing inside. Makes 2 outside cuts. Is able to gain the significant yardage on that play. Really impressed with what Ruley's done so far in this game.
Grew up as a Temple fan along with Ohio State, actually, and he played some ball at Valley Forge Military Academy in college, also at Delaware Valley Community College before Ruley could get there, as Temple's trying to get this first down, and it will move the stick. So he goes from a walk-on then to a scholarship player. So Ruley's been seen as the feature back you may see throughout the day for Rod Cowrey's teams, Edward Sadie and Kyle Dobbins, but losing Ramon Davis in the midst of the season has to be huge, and a lot of pressure levied on the redshirt senior's shoulders and Tavon Ruley. Be a 1st and 10 here for the Owls. Ruley still in the game. 3 wide for Temple, and Beatty on play action again. Beatty on the slants like smack there. It's good coverage by Crossley. Has 3 interceptions this year. Cromartie was there to back up as well, but Crossley's put together a fantastic 2020.
Well, I could see what Temple's trying to do there. SMU goes cover 2, which means the middle of the field was open. They just weren't able to complete the pass.
Devere Levelston is also on the line. Again, they rotate a lot of guys in there, along with Terrence Newman. Ruley again on 2nd and 10. We'll get a few, trying to scamper all the way to the 30-yard line for this Temple team. Stopped by Nelson Paul, plays that stang position, which is a hybrid D lineman and also lines up as a linebacker as well. Can rush the passer and also drop back into coverage if needed. Temple today with 54 rushing yards to just a meager 7 for SMU. And they're going against the top rusher in the conference in Ulysses Bentley. It's 3rd and 5 here. Beatty, good protection by Boozer, going to step up and run for the first down and slides across the 35. But the official seems like he's going to mark him just a yard shy, and we'll see what Temple does here on 4th and short.
Yeah, if you're Trad Beatty, you have to know where you are on the field. He could have easily made that first down, but the official's got to spot it where he starts his slide, and now it looks like Temple's going to have to punt the football away.
Temple's going to bring back out Adam Barry, seeing this 6-point advantage here. Rod Carey sending out the special teams unit. Page is back to receive this punt for SMU. You know, keep in mind in the second quarter of games, SMU has fared very well. Last game, in fact, they outscored their opponent 31-0 over Navy. This looks like it will be a false start.
False start. Offense number 28. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
That's against MJ Griffin on special teams for Temple. We'll back up and give punter Adam Barry some more room to work. That's the first flag today. Temple is the 3rd most penalized team in the American Conference.
Adam Barry's done a nice job for Temple punting this year, averaging 41.4 yards per punt.
Started his career at Independence Community College. Good hang time here. They wanted to see more of this from their special teams coordinator, Brett Dearson. It's Page who makes again 2-man miss and dragged down at the 31-yard line again for Temple. It was a good special teams play by Ebikadi, as this Temple team will go back on defense, and Buechele will come back on the other side as the Mustangs, the top 20 team, down by 6.
We were being called pussycats.
We'll remember that night in Tokyo.
Oh, look at you.
Hey!
Enormous
All
in as
right,
well.
calm yourself.
I never picked the test team correctly. Remember? Yeah.
Back in Philadelphia with Ken Dunnick, our entire ESPN crew. Dave Leto on the calls as SMU team back on offense, led by Shane Buechele. 7th nationally in total offense, averaging 523 yards per game. They've struggled on the ground, which has been a surprise, as Bentley is stopped there by Linwood Crump. And Temple can, for those that are just tuning into our broadcast here, and their jaws may be down against the number 18 team in the country in SMU, why do you think Temple has been able to hang in against SMU?
Well, one reason is up until that play, they'd only given up 7 yards on the ground. The Temple defensive line is doing an outstanding job so far.
2nd and 8. Here for Buechele again on the option. It's Bentley trying to make 1-man miss. Quinku is there to come up with the stop at the 31-yard line. Quinku they really love, and really an unselfish player, because here's a guy who redshirts because they had a slew of high-octane linebackers last year like Russell and Bradley, and Sam Franklin says to the coaching staff, hey, let me get stronger, let me redshirt. There's a lot of guys in front of me, did that, and he's excelling here as a starter at the middle linebacker position. Get another 3rd and 10 here for Buechele. From his own 31, 4 wide receivers. Buechele pressured again by Archibald, dumps it off to Bentley, and he stopped immediately at the 31-yard line. Arnold Ebikadi there once again for the stop for the Owls.
I know Temple defensive coordinator Jeff Knowles got to be really happy with what's going on here so far. Another nice read by the Temple defense. They're able to swarm the football, forcing another SMU punt.
I give credit to Boozer, Archibald, Maijay, Ebikadi against this offensive line for SMU that has a lot of talent, led by Alan Ali, their center. Good hang time here for Nagar. Erdman, this is the first punt return all year for Temple. And he's dragged out by SMU's Judah Bell, a backup tight end playing special teams. And Temple has to be encouraged with the start that we keep saying, and their offense will come back onto the field. We've seen both Beatty and Real Mitchell playing at the quarterback position for the Owls today.
Yep, so far Trad Beatty is 3 for 6 for 84 yards and a touchdown. Of course, the bulk of that coming on the first play of the game. the 75-yard strike. And then Real Mitchell, 3 for 3 for 22 yards, but of course his asset are his feet and his ability to rush the football.
So Mitchell will be back in the game. There's Bouchel trying to right the ship between his team. Charles Lamartina told something to the crowd here.
Looks like there's a review.
Review for targeting is what I heard the tail end of his explanation. Yes, we're going to get a targeting review, and that's a point of emphasis, which could result in an ejection.
Well, the replay officials must have seen something that we did not, because I didn't see any violent contact on that play, but I'm sure our guys in the truck will show us.
Yep, so here's on special teams.
Right.
And that's Judah Blue, 13 coming in, lowering his shoulder.
That's not a target. That's not a target. That's a lower the shoulder, force out of bounds hit.
Paul Zukis is our replay official for this game. That's again occurring on a punt return. Another look here. Erdman, the grad transfer from Georgia.
No, he's still in bounds, right? He lowers his shoulder, tries to get his head out of the way to force the punt returner out of bounds. I can't see that being called a target.
It seemed like Danny Gray was also playing on special teams, one of their bright wide receivers, trying to come up with the stop. Bell might have been a little bit of a late hit. We'll see. Charles Lamartina.
Well,
there's
if you're the defender now, okay, he's already made his motion to try to tackle the ball carrier. He wasn't. He may have been slightly out of bounds, but again, as a football player, you're taught to finish the play.
Here's Lamartina.
After further review, there is no foul for targeting by number 13 during the game. He can remain in the game.
You know what's great about that? I finally got one of those right. I'm about 80% wrong with my target, no target calls. But I really, unless it's egregious, I hate to see targeting called because, you know, it costs the team, it costs the player. I mean, it just, if you're going to call a target, you need to be really sure.
So Mitchell, the California native, back out there for Temple with Ruley again. The tight end is Jarman with the top two tight ends, Martin Robinson and Pittman out. And another give inside for Temple. They're going to get past the 35-yard line for the Owls as Robinson comes up with the stop. Like that was Kyle Dobbins that ran that last play, which would be his first carry for Temple. He's coming off now. Ruley coming back on. So it was Robbins. Kyle Dobbins, the home run hitter, comes off, and Ruley back on for Mitchell. Mitchell was the starting quarterback for high school in place of the guy for Clemson, who's the starting quarterback today for Trevor Lawrence. Passing complete intended for Jarman. That's DJ Uaungale from St. John Bosco. So again, Mitchell was the starting quarterback in high school, and the kid that's starting for Clemson against Notre Dame today was the second string behind Mitchell.
Mitchell does a good job there throwing that ball away. He was pressured. Receiver was covered. Didn't take a sack. Maybe he should have a conversation with Carson Wentz, teach him how to do that.
Ruley in the backfield here for Temple on a 3rd and 5 with the Owls up by 6 over SMU. Mitchell again, good pressure by the line once more. Looking out wide for Mack. Again, terrific coverage by Brandon Crossley. 2 for 2 on pass breakups to start his afternoon in Philadelphia, and will force Adam Barry to punt for Temple.
Yeah, Brandon Crossley's had a good start to this game. He was also very active in the Navy game, breaking up a lot of balls. Of course, Navy threw it far more than I've ever seen him throw it in my 30 or 40 years of watching Navy football. Crossley does a nice job there of knocking that pass away.
Yeah, that was surprising from Navy. They fell by 14. Barry will punt it away for Temple in red to Page again, who's looked good on punt return so far. Barry, a low line drive to Page, who has it at the 25. Blocker in front. Blazes past the 40. Here's Tyler Page across midfield and into Temple territory at the 45-yard line. Page has really set up his offense for success, as we do have a flag, though, on the play. Brought down by Nasir Bowen of Temple at special teams. Saved that touchdown.
This one will come back.
Seems like Jarman is down here from Temple. He's their number 3 tight end and starting as a tight end today, as mentioned, with Martin Robinson, the big tight end, out, and Pittman as
Going
well.
to return holding. Receiving team number 26. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down. Timeout on the field.
So we'll step aside here with Temple up by 6 over SMU in Philadelphia.
We were being called pussycats.
We'll remember that night in Tokyo.
Oh, look at you.
Hey!
Enormous.
All right, calm yourself.
I never picked the test team correctly. Yeah.
Here's one of the reasons why Sonny Dykes' team has been so successful now in his 3rd year at the helm. You see they're outscoring opponents massively in the first half, but we have to give credit to the job Temple is doing, especially at the line of scrimmage today.
Yeah, there's no question that Temple pride was stung last week against that performance against Tulane, and they've come out here ready to play. I do want to mention I really enjoyed the call that we had with Sonny Dykes. He talked about being more than a football coach, or football being more than just X's and O's, and how he tries to develop people. And of course he learned that from his father Spike, who was a longtime coach at Texas Tech, and just really seemed like philosophically he had his act together when we spoke to him earlier this week.
Yeah, his dad was the all-time wins leader at Texas Tech before Mike Leach took over there. Previous coaching stints at La Tech and also at Cal. Was an offensive analyst at TCU before becoming the head coach of SMU on December 11th, 2017. Michelle back to work, was looking for Rashee Rice. He'll be second down. Braswell on the coverage. Ebikadi on the pressure again. And what makes this SMU team so special is you always have Michelle, who just is so explosive and throws that deep ball so well and so confidently. But you have 3, seemingly 4 wide receivers that contribute, along with a young running back core and a big tight end that can contribute downfield. There's a lot of weapons at his disposal, along with their OC, Garrett Riley. Again, it's Page. She's had a good game today across the 35. Brought down again by Alex Odom, the freshman from Jersey at a Kingsway High School, getting his first action of the year. And another 3rd down here for Buechele at 3rd and 5.
The luxury of having a senior quarterback with this much experience. He just read the defense. He saw the safety was backed off of the slot receiver. He was able to complete the pass. Brings up a manageable 3rd and 5.
Levine back into the game to the left hip of Buechele. Page is also out there along with Gray at the bottom of your screen. It's Page in motion, 3rd and 5 from their own 37. Buechele flails it downfield and has his man across the 40-yard line for another SMU first down. And will hit Rice. Quenku and Braswell there on the stop. And it's a good route here by Rice across the field on the slant.
Now watch this. There's not much room there. He fits it into a tight window, and Rice is able to get that first down. Good throw by Buechele.
They go tempo here, and Buechele, yes, he can run it as well and manages a couple of yards. So he averages 318 passing yards as well. Has mustered 93 rushing yards. Does have a rushing touchdown too. But now another SMU player is down right now. That's their left tackle, Jalen Thomas. We'll check up on him on the other side. It's Temple up by 3.
We were being called pussycats.
We'll remember that night in Tokyo.
Oh, look at you.
Hey!
Enormous.
All right, calm yourself.
I never picked the test team correctly. Yeah.
Back in Philadelphia, Jalen Thomas got helped off the field for SMU. He's the Mustangs' left tackle, and a big one up there along with Hayden Howardson on the left side of that line. We'll see if Ben Sparks does come in for Sonny Dykes' team. And his team has done well in the first half of games. We showed you that graphic a moment ago, but out of the last 19 games, 15 of the last 19, his team has tied or led at halftime. We'll see if Buechele and company can roar back. Just down a score, though. 2nd and 5 out of the timeout. Ben Sparks is in the game, the freshman at left tackle. Read option, it's Levine across midfield. Has the first down for SMU. He had 2 touchdowns last week against Navy.
Tyler Levine there with an opportunity. Former walk-on has earned himself a scholarship averaging almost 5 yards a carry. Temple has totally dominated the SMU running game, who rushed for well over 200 yards last week against Navy, and up until that last play only had 11 yards for the day.
And how about this? Bentley is out of the game right now. He has 13 rushing yards. His long was 8. Good play out wide into the flat by Page. Stays on his feet. Dragged down just shy of the 30-yard line. On the stop, Kobe Wilson, another freshman, getting time. Debuted against Navy in the first game of the year from Temple. And how about the day for Page as well for SMU receiving? Over 45 yards and a touchdown. As McIntyre, the tight end, will come off. Levine stays into the game as Boozer comes in at D-end for Temple. First and 10 here for Buechele. It is number 18 ranked Mustangs down by 6. Play action here for Buechele. Pocket of collapsing, and here comes Ebiketie. Oh, what another sack there by Arnold Ebiketie. Add another into his account this year. That's 3 on the season.
Excellent job on the exterior pass rush. He beats offensive lineman Justin Osborne, and Buechele never sees him coming. Ebiketie with a nice lick on the quarterback. Now it's second and almost 20 yards. Big play by the Temple defense.
That's an 8-yard loss. Here's Buechele, protection by Levine. Checks it down to Granson, makes one man miss. Down to the 30-yard line and just shy of the 25. Alex Odom again, another stop. Granson again, that security blanket, wears many hats for this SMU offense.
That's when you know you've got an experienced guy at quarterback. He realizes he doesn't have to get it all back. He's able to get about, I would say, 14 yards back on that play just using a simple check down, and now they have a manageable 3rd and 4.
SMU is 5 of 8 on 3rd down. Bentley back into the game, and he's short by about 1.5 yards. It's been a struggle for the top rusher in the American Conference in Bentley today. With that run, he might have just shy of 15 yards in the game. And again, his longest rush so far is 8. He has 10 touchdowns on the season. Here's a player that averages nearly 100 yards per game, and you could see visibly frustrated on the sideline, and SMU's going to go for it again on 4th down.
Tyler Levine in the game, a running back.
They're 0 for 1 on 4th down today. Play here for SMU. It's Levine, north-south. Lowers his shoulder as the first down for Levine. That's exactly what they want from him. Brought down by George Reed, especially with TJ McDaniel was their number 1. He got hurt with an ankle injury, so Levine getting more time, Ken, moving forward.
Yeah, I love the way he runs. He runs low to the ground. He sticks his nose in there, and he's able to gain the tough yards, which is something that offensive coaches really love.
Under 5 minutes to go in our first half. Buechele out of the gun, Granson in motion. Grace at the bottom of your screen. They fake it to Bentley. Off his back foot here, looking for Page. Almost comes up with the catch. Stumbled again. Good coverage of the secondary once more by this Temple team. Be a 2nd and 10.
I'll tell you, for college, this is really a sophisticated offense. You know, Garrett Riley, we said, is the brother of Lincoln Riley, the head coach of Oklahoma. He's got so many packages, and they run plays off of these packages, and it's really hard for a defensive coordinator to be able to figure out where they're going and when. Jeff Knowles' squad has done a good job today, but how long can they keep him at bay?
Bentley and Granson to the backfield here on 2nd and 10 for the 20. It's Bentley trying to run past Ebiketie, and he gets about 7. Brought down again by Alex Odom. He's been very busy today. He's scooted past Ebiketie in another 3rd and short here for Buechele. Page is going to come out, Gray in. Myjay also inserts himself defensively. Coming out is Daniel Archibong on 3rd and short. This is where SMU really excels on these 3rd and 3, 3rd and 5 plays. It's 3rd and 3 to be exact here with 4 minutes to go. Here's that diamond formation again. McIntyre in motion to the right side of the line. Buechele, option, looking for Gray. That back shoulder throw, incomplete. Crump was there with the coverage. And again, 4th and short upcoming. Let's see what Sonny Dykes does.
Yeah, that's an interesting call right there. I thought for sure, since they stacked the strength to the right side, they'd go ahead and hand it off. But he fakes the run and is able to throw it to the outside of the receiver, who wasn't able to bring it in. It looks like they're going to go for it here on 4th down.
Levine back into the game. SMU came into the game at 90% inside the red zone. They are so dominant when they get to this part of the field, and they're going to get the call for the sideline. And I think they're going to take a timeout first. Yep, so SMU will take the timeout. There you see those red zone numbers, 25 touchdowns, 10 field goals. But Temple has done an exceptional job limiting the run. SMU currently has 183 yards on total offense to 169 for Temple. But this Temple team has done a great job up front in the trenches. Good start to the game by Boozer and Ebikade. Just 24 rushing yards for this SMU team.
You know, back in the day, this would be an automatic field goal try. They have a good kicker, and Nagar, he's 13 for 16 on his field goal attempts, 32 for 34 in extra points. And this is 3rd and 3 or 4. It's not like it's, 4th and 3 or 4. It's not like it's a 4th and very short.
They're 1 of 2 on 4th downs out of the timeout. Big play for SMU. They have Rice out wide at the top of your screen. Page at the slot along with Granson. Gray's at the bottom of your screen for the Mustangs. Bouchel with Levine in the backfield. There's Bouchel pressure coming. Dumps it off to Gray. Trying to make one-man miss, and Gray reaches across for a touchdown. There is a flag on the play. Got past Alex Odom in coverage. We'll check the call first and foremost by Charles LaMartina. May go as a hold here against the Mustangs. We'll see.
Holding. Offense number 78. 10-yard penalty from their previous spot. Replay, 4th down.
And Ken, that's huge. That's against the right tackle,
Yeah.
Bo Morris.
Well,
It gains the touchdown.
They came with all-out pressure there, and a lot of times, even if you don't get to the quarterback, you know, you'll get a holding call like that because there's too many bodies to block. And that time, Jeff Knowles did a good job of donning up the heat and forcing now SMU into a field goal attempt.
So here's one of the best kickers in the country in Nagar, 13 of 16 on field goals this year. Be a 41-yard field goal attempt here for Nagar. Holding is Derek Green, the son of Trent Green. And Nagar's kick is close and just falls inside that left upright. From the American Conference Special Teams Player of the Week 4 times this year, Chris Nagar gets SMU. They needed that on the board. It's now just a 3-point game.
Yeah, I think it's important for SMU to get some points out of that drive. They're, been stunned here by Temple's ability to stop them on 3rd down, and really impressed with the way Temple's been able to negate their rushing game. Only 24 yards for SMU rushing so far in this game. And keep in mind, this is an offense that averages well over 500 yards a game passing and rushing.
And right now they have 183 to Temple's 169. So defensively, Temple has held their own. And we'll need to see that moving forward at home, where they have won 11 of the last 12 home games. And Nagar will kick it away. To this Temple team in the last series, we saw Real Mitchell for the Owls. We'll see if it's he or Beatty that has been a theme throughout this game. This will sail to the end zone over Jaden Blue for another touchback. So Temple will start its offense again at the 25.
Impressed with Nagar, Dave. Sorry, he's got big-time leg strength. He kicks many balls into the end zone for touchbacks, and right there he hit a 40-yarder like it was a chip shot. So this is a guy that may be on the NFL radar.
A second in the American Conference in scoring. Back-to-back weeks, Ken, he had game-winning field goals, a 34-yard game winner in overtime against Tulane, and also had a game winner against Memphis. But it's the Temple offense back onto the field, and it's Beatty, the redshirt sophomore, working with Jarman. Rooley's in the backfield. Beatty again into the flat. It's Blue trying to make Stevens miss. Good coverage again with Clay for a minimal gain of maybe a yard to Jaden Blue. He has 5 touchdowns receiving for this Temple team, which leads the group. Ken, what's suspect to me is Brandon Mack has been limited throughout this one. Of course, he's really had a connection with Anthony Russo, who's out for this game, but they're not finding Mack.
Yeah, and he was actually on the trainer's table. We weren't sure if he's nursing some sort of an injury, but he hasn't been much of a factor tonight.
He is there on the top of your screen now. So they'll get the call and bring in Reams as a wide receiver. See where Mack now lines up, and he'll shift outside his left tackle, Isaac Moore. In motion is Blue. Look for the sweep here. He gets a shovel here to Blue, right on cue. Trying to get past Stevens, who might get a hold on Temple, though there's a flag on the play. Good push up front by Moore. Klein now playing that left guard spot for the injured Hooper. Officials talking, they might pick this up. We'll just have to wait and see. No call as you see Charles Lamartina.
Holding, offense number 86. 10-yard penalty, replay, second down.
That's a big one. That's on the tight end, Jarman. He and Picozzi are getting time at tight end. All right, so the penalty was declined wisely by SMU. And so Temple's offense still on the field against this SMU defense here. A 2nd and 19. We'll go to a 2nd and 6. Should be 3rd down though, right? Yeah, so 3rd down here for ruling instead of the 2nd and long. Pressure coming, Beatty's gonna have to go, and he finds Mack across the 40 and a 1st down. A big play for Brandon Mack past Armani Johnson that will move the chains.
Well, if Trad Beatty wants to stake claim to the job, he just did something very good there. He hung until the last second until his receiver was able to get open, and it was a really good route by number 1, Brandon Mack. He's able to haul it in for a 1st down. But good job by the quarterback of hanging in there, holding your water, and delivering a good ball.
Crossley is down right now for SMU at the 30-yard line, top left of your screen. That's because of the stoppage here at 2:09. He's been big for this team, a transfer from Colorado State, a terrific addition, where he has 3 interceptions coming into the game that was tied first nationally. Had a big one in overtime against Tulane to allow this SMU team to beat the Green Wave in overtime this year. Set them up for that field goal by Nagar.
Yeah, if you look at what SMU has done this year, the fact that Temple is this competitive is pretty impressive. They're 6-1 coming in, and they beat Memphis. Of course, they beat Tulane, who dismantled Temple last week. Their only losses to Cincinnati, and then they crushed what I think is a very competitive Navy team this year. So Temple is playing good football against a quality football team.
Beatty still into the game. Ruley with the protection there. McBride has his man. And the catch is made far side of the field by Jaden Blue as he beats Trevor Denbo for another Temple 1st down. There is a flag on the play though.
Pass interference, offense number 12. 15-yard penalty, replay, 1st down.
That's going against Reams, the redshirt sophomore. Negates the big play from Blue and Temple. Ken has mentioned they're the 3rd most penalized team in the American Conference, and with this Temple team with a lot of guys out and playing a lot of younger, inexperienced players, situations like this are going to come up, and the coaching staff still scratching their head though.
They are, but one thing about getting these young players experience is going to pay off at the end of this year and certainly for years to come. You know, you hate to throw young guys out there when they're not ready, but Temple really has no choice.
Another stoppage on the field as well. Lambertina's going to let him play. A look at Rod Carey and his group trying to bounce back after that 38-3 loss at Tulane, and doing it very nicely here so far with 1:55 to go in our 1st half. Up by 3 over the 18th ranked team in the country. Blue in motion. It's Ruley again trying to get this 1st down. 1st and 25 here, so it'll be 2nd and long. Stevens with the stop for the Mustangs.
I like the call. You don't have to throw on 1st and 25. You can get a chunk back, and work on the rest of it the next 2 downs.
Second and long after, again, that penalty on Temple on Ream. So they'll get the call from the sideline with their OC, Mike Uremovich. It's a Temple team that averages 25 points per game. Lost the last 2 games to Memphis and Tulane. They hung in, though, in that Memphis game. It was a 5-point game at the tail end of that one. Really stopped again by Richard McBride, who's second on this SMU team in tackles.
Good job by McBride there. Auburn transfer comes into the game with 38 tackles.
You see he and a slew of players are coming off. This is this rotation and depth on the defensive side, led by their DC Kevin Kane. Shane Haley coming in at that spot to be exact from Dallas, Texas. And here's a 3rd and long for Temple. And in no hurry here, the play clock at 10. Again, SMU will get the ball to start the second half. They deferred to start the game. And they'll take the timeout.
Temple takes their first charge timeout of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
I actually like that. Rod Carey is pretty happy with his position right now. He ran some clock down. The likelihood of them converting a 3rd and 14 is remote, so he's going to take as much time off the clock as he can, punt the football away, and hopefully doesn't give SMU enough time to score here at the end of the half.
This has been a program of consistency despite a slew of coaching changes at Temple, and you got to give credit to the student athletes hanging in amidst all these coaching changes, from Matt Rule to Jeff Collins to Manny Diaz, and now Rod Carey in his 2nd year. And that's got to be tough on those guys when all these coaches have different philosophies.
No, it definitely is, but you know, Rod Carey is a quality football coach, had great success at Northern Illinois. We talked about it. It's a hard place to recruit. That's where I went to high school, and it gets kind of cold up there, partner. So if you really love football, you'll go to DeKalb, Illinois. But I think that Temple is a special place. Philadelphia, a great city. Temple, a special program, and the quality players will continue to come.
SMU takes their 2nd charge timeout of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
And here's the chess match. And with Rod Carey, we asked him, how tough is it losing Russo, now dealing with Beatty and Mitchell? Have you ever been through that experience? And remember, he had a superb Heisman Trophy finalist in Jordan Lynch as a quarterback at Northern. But one of the years, Ken, they went through 5 different quarterbacks. So he and his staff, and Mike Uremovich was an OC back at Northern. They've been through this situation dealing with a carousel at the gunslinger position.
Well, you know, fans and supporters and boosters, they kind of freak out by injuries, but you know, coaches who know these players and have recruited these players have confidence in these players. And even though you might be a 5th string quarterback, that doesn't mean talent-wise you may be as good as the first 2. You just haven't had an opportunity to play yet.
It took Northern to 6 bowl games, a MAC championship as well. Here's the 3rd and 15 with 36 seconds after the SMU timeout for Beatty. Really protecting, but Beatty's going to go down. That's a terrific play by Nelson Paul, getting some time at that stang position and making a huge stop on 3rd and long with 24 seconds to go.
Looks like Beatty getting up slowly there, took a shot at the end of the play.
And that's what they missed from Davis, and also Rulli, they want him to strengthen, and that's that pass protection by the backfield.
As he goes down, he may take a knee or a little elbow there right to the face mask. The official didn't see it, or they could have thrown a flag.
That will send Adam Barry back out. Tyler Page has also been terrific throughout the day on punt returns, along with playing that slot position, a guy who was really out of the picture, but they moved him back to inside. He's better there than on the outside position. Putting Danny Gray at the X, that was the job of Robertson, and Page holding his own. He will return.
Charge timeout of the half. Correction, their 2nd charge timeout of the half.
So SMU might have taken a timeout there. That's the confusion that's occurring on the field there, whether it was the 2nd or 3rd timeout before this punt for Temple, because they're trying to keep time on the clock to perhaps get a long field goal for Chris Nagar. And that's what Rod Carey is talking with our referee Charles Lamartina about. And nonetheless, SMU will get the ball to end this first half in Philadelphia. First time they're meeting here since 2016. Temple has taken 2 of the last 3 meetings, but it was a huge victory for SMU and Dallas last year between the two.
Temple has asked for a 10-second runoff. However, SMU is declining the 10-second runoff. The clock will start on my signal.
Well, I would suspect they would decline it, right?
Yes.
With 24 seconds to go. I think they want all the time in the world.
Nice try, Rod Carey.
So the clock does move. They're going to blow this dead here because after a timeout, I don't think the game clock should have started moving until the ball was snapped. They just started on the referee's whistle. Let's see. I think they're going to have to reset.
Please reset the game clock.
Should be
to
to
24 seconds.
Yes. Now Lambertina's got it. Should be 24 seconds.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Everybody's human, but this crew is having a rough stretch right here.
Right, so I think the confusion right now for everybody watching is that whether to start it on the whistle.
Correction.
On the snap,
Game
it should
clock
be.
will start
Correct.
on the snap. Thank you.
Right, so not on the whistle.
You don't wind the clock after a timeout.
Well, Ken, you and I were all over it, along with our crew.
Give me a striped shirt.
So Barry will punt this away with 24 seconds to go. Page is returning. He's had a good day. Keep an eye on him. Let's see if he can go to the boundary here in Barry. It's better hang time from him. It will sail over Page. It's rolling towards the 5-yard line, and Temple's going to have it on special teams again. It's a good stop there. Willie Erdman coming up inside the 5 to down it for this Temple team, and SMU is going to have 12 seconds to go, and Barry with a terrific punt of 52 yards.
You know, those are the kind of punts you write home, and he's got a little golf swing there talking about the way he hit that punt. Beautiful job of not only kicking it high and long, but killing it. It ends up on the 2-yard line, going to make it very, very difficult for SMU to get any points before the half ends.
That was a 9-iron right into the green, no question.
Well, my 9-irons go a lot lower than that.
I was going to say, but I think you've had a couple birdies in your day.
Not enough.
Buechele to Levine, just trying to get SMU out of trouble here, and advances up to the 10-yard line. And that will do it for our first half. And Ken, the story, how about this Temple team? An exceptional start. They're up by 3.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
On the call, Temple defensively had a great first half. So here's the question. What did Sonny Dykes and his coaching staff perhaps discuss with their second half adjustments with their offense and defensive side moving forward?
Well, I don't think a coach is ever surprised when another team plays well. Of course, Temple has a quality football program. The thing that Rod Carey said, we've mentioned it a couple of times, is they were not going to get beat at the line of scrimmage, offensively or defensively. And right now, Temple has lived up to that promise.
So SMU deferred to start the game. They'll get the ball to start our third quarter. Rory Bell missed an extra point after the 75-yard Randall Jones score. We'll kick it away as Levine is back deep along with Page and Massey. It's in the direction of Massey, and again for the second time in the game, this will be an illegal kick out of bounds. Ball will go to the 35 for SMU. It's got to be tough on special teams for Temple.
Very difficult. You know, the first game we had against South Florida.
Free kick out of bounds on the kicking team. SMU has elected to take the ball at the 35-yard line. First down.
Temple had some coverage problems on special teams against South Florida, and here, this is the second kick out of bounds. That's something that they have to clean up.
So again, Rory Bell won the job over Will Mobley. He took over the kickoff duties in the Memphis game. We'll see if that will continue moving forward. So let's see about these adjustments for Buechele with Levine in the backfield. First play of our second half for Buechele is going to decide to run across the 40-yard line. And it's a gain of 5. as he's rushed out by Crump. Good decision making by Buechele. That has also led to his success when to check it down, Ken, keeping himself on the read option.
Oh yeah, he's a cool customer out there. He knows where to go with the football. But good start by the Temple defense. Good pressure, good coverage in the backfield, makes Buechele tuck it and run.
2nd and 5 for the 40. Levine still in the game for Buechele. And finds his man Rice right around the 45-yard line, taken down by Braswell, as what is 1 INT. He's had a good first half for Temple. That will move the sticks.
Rasheed Rice on that completion right there. He had one of the best catches you'll ever see against Navy on a sideline touchdown last week.
Levine still in the game, 3 carries for 22 yards. As one more rushing yard than Bentley on the read option. Again, it's Levine, met by Reed. George Reed doing well in place of Isaiah Graham Mobley, who plays that weak linebacker spot. So again, they're without IGM. Ivandi Rigby is also out of the Bubo position, which is also a hybrid position known as the toughest, most ferocious owl. So a lot of change on this defensive lineup for Temple. But Jeff Knowles and his staff are doing a great job along with these student athletes. Buechele finds Page across the field on a slant, another first down. He's had a remarkable game. He has over 50 yards receiving today.
You're seeing a little resolve here by the SMU offense. They look a little bit sharper than they did in the second quarter already. That was a good route.
Chris Banks is going to come into the game and replaces Archibong, applying that pressure at the nose tackle spot. Levine's now going to split out wide at the top of your screen. Page 66 yards today in a TD. Empty set here for Buechele from the Temple 44. Buechele right down the middle, has his man across the 30 and room to run again. SMU takes it to the house, and Tyler Page has his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon.
Well, Dave, it's a similar route as they did for the first touchdown by Tyler Page. A little square in route over the middle, and Buechele sees it, and he's able to outrun the coverage. Looks like Temple got a little bit confused. 2 guys in the area, neither one of them brings down Page, and he's able to get in for the score.
So Nagar will come on for the extra point. How about Page moving from the outside now back to that slot position and succeeding here in Philadelphia, and the kick by Nagar is good. And just like that, for the first time today, SMU has taken the lead in Philadelphia, 17-13 over Temple. But it's a good look, Buechele over to Page. And pony up Dallas. SMU has the lead over the Avs.
We were being called pussycats.
We'll remember that night in Tokyo.
Oh, look at you.
Hey!
Enormous
All
in as
right,
well.
calm yourself.
I never picked the test team correctly. Remember, yeah.
How about the afternoon by Tyler Page? 6 receptions, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ken, the coaching staff told us a very dependable option, and he is flourishing in Philadelphia today.
Yeah, it just goes to show how many weapons this SMU offense has. Page, coming into the game, only had 23 catches for 252 with no touchdowns. So he said a tremendously productive performance so far today.
Nagar again, another touchback. So no returns off of kickoffs today as it sails way past Jaden Blue. We'll bring back on the Temple offense, but just to hammer on that point about Tyler Page, here's a guy that was a quarterback in high school, then comes to this SMU program as a wide receiver, was on the outside, got inserted back to the inside after some injuries, and Page is getting it done for this SMU team. He also handles the punt returns and also on kickoff. He does everything, certainly a versatile piece. He's their steady Eddie, according to the coaching staff, and he's delivering here at the Link. Real Mitchell is back in at quarterback. Known for his running and the read options, also can throw as well. With this Temple team down for the 2nd time today. Down by 4 here. It's Ruley back in there, past McBride, trying to jet up past the 30-yard line. Met again by Manny Walker coming in, rotating at the DN spot with Evan Boozer. Now, what have you made of Ruley getting his first career start? We mentioned again Ramon Davis transferring out of the program on Wednesday.
Well, he runs hard. He looks like he runs downhill. He's got quick feet. He makes nice cuts, and right now he looks like he's happy to have the job.
Reams back in at the top of your screen for Temple. Mitchell still in the game on 2nd and 3. And this should be a false start called against Temple's O-line.
False start. Offense number 63. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
It's going against Isaac Morris, playing that left tackle spot with Picozzi moving to right guard. Klein is now shifting over to left guard, so there's a lot of experience up there, but there's been some inconsistency due to injury, really all parts of the field for Temple. Mitchell on the read option, going to roll right as a blocker, and Rulli in front, past Denbo, and just getting to the 29-yard line and out of bounds. It will be 3rd and a few yards here for Temple.
Right there, Real Mitchell shows off the wheels. He's got nothing doing on the right side. He's able to extend the play and actually make a couple of yards out of a play that should have gone for a loss.
Temple is 3 of 7 on 3rd down, so a big play here with the team down by 4 to number 18 SMU. Just trailing Cincinnati and Tulsa, the American standings. You know, they're in the conversation along with Houston and UCF for the championship game. Mitchell on 3rd and 6, thought about running, can't get help from his offensive line, and taken down again. Shane Haley along with Elijah Chapman to wrap him up, and will force Adam Barry to punt.
Yeah, to me, that almost looked like a design play, maybe a quarterback draw. If it wasn't, he certainly pulled the plug on that play too soon. Give credit to the SMU defensive line for the pressure, but right here, he doesn't really give the play much time to develop. Does the defensive lineman grab the face mask? It could have been, but the official doesn't call it, so it's not a penalty.
That was close by Chapman. Barry to punt it away with SMU leading. It's not a great punt at all. It's very short. Page will let it fall, and it will go out of bounds at around the 36-yard line of SMU. Buechele and company will come back onto the field with the Mustangs up by 4 over Temple. We're back in a moment.
We were being called pussycats.
We'll remember that night in Tokyo.
Oh, look at you.
Hey!
Enormous
All
in as
right,
well.
calm yourself.
I never picked the test team correctly. Remember, yeah.
This is one of the reasons why SMU has had a lot of success this year. 3 50-plus point games this year, Ken, including a 65-point game at North Texas.
And the only clinker they threw in there was against Cincinnati, and Cincinnati has one good defense this season.
Wheel route out of the backfield. It's Bentley. Kwenku will chase him down across the 40-yard line. So that will be a theme to look forward to throughout the rest of this game. Can they get the top rusher in the American, Ulysses Bentley, back to his form? Temple's been doing an exceptional job stopping the run. They're going with tempo here, led by their offensive coordinator, Garrett Riley. Read option again, it's Bentley. Makes one man miss again. Amir Tyler coming up with a stop from his safety position. He's done well throughout the game with Jalen Ware, not to allow any big plays to this SMU team, who's up by 4. 1st and 10 here again for Buechele. Bentley with the protection as Granson, and Granson makes the catch past Braswell and Tyler. And another big play for SMU and a 1st down. Buechele very comfortable to start half number 2.
And you can see the tempo offense now starting to take effect. SMU very good at running at high speed, and right now Temple looks a little bit caught off guard.
Bentley in the backfield, trips to the near side here for the Mustangs. They go tempo again with Bentley past Kwenku, and he motors down to the 25, perhaps to the 24-yard line before Chris Banks and Kwenku can get there. And you can see Bentley now with a concerted effort, Ken, to finish play stronger.
Yeah, he's running a lot harder than he did in the first half.
Player is down for Temple.
Timeout for injured player.
So it looks like Tyler is down, the safety for the Owls, and that will allow us to step aside. SMU motoring downfield up by 4 over Temple. We'll be back in just a moment.
We were being called pussycats.
We'll remember that night in Tokyo.
Oh, look at you.
Hey!
Enormous in
All
as
right,
well.
calm yourself.
I never picked the test team correctly. Remember, yeah.
Back in Philadelphia, Tyler is out. MJ Griffin is in the secondary. It will be 2nd and 2 here for the Mustangs. Really big stop that Temple needs moving forward here as SMU is leading by 4. Buechele working with Levine. They go out wide. They got their man Rice. Barrels across the 15, past Crump. And another first down for the Mustangs. They're steamrolling now here in the third quarter.
After Rod Carey, you don't like the way this half has started. It starts with a kickoff out of bounds, followed by a poor punt, followed by a false start penalty that helps kill a drive. And right now SMU is driving again.
And if you're just joining us, Temple led at the half 13-10. Page had a 44-yard touchdown to start the second half. Buechele again, over the middle, has his man on a slant again. That's been his prime target. Page, just past Kobe Wilson, the freshman, inside the 10-yard line to around the 8.
Check it out, Page becoming Buechele's favorite target in this game. Good open field tackle there prevents a touchdown.
They can get a first down at around the 3-yard line. Buechele over 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, both to Page. Empty set, 5 wide receivers. Buechele looking on the slant, had Rice in and out of his hands. Jalen Ware almost come up with the pick. It's Braswell again on the nice defensive stop for Temple.
Yeah, Rice, usually a very sure-handed receiver. When we talked to the coaching staff, they said he had some of the strongest hands on the team. And I wasn't sure if that was a little bit of sun glare that affected his vision, but he wasn't able to haul that one in.
Chris Banks comes out. Chauncey Moore in the secondary comes in on a nickel defensively. SMU 5 for 10 on third downs. Bentley in the backfield for Buechele. As great at the bottom of your screen, Page, keep an eye on him. He's had the 2 touchdowns receiving for the Mustangs. Huge play in the game. And it's incomplete, intended for Gray. Covered well by Linwood Crump.
Dave, I think Buechele picked the wrong receiver there. It looked like he had Tyler Gray on the inside slant, much more open than the outside receiver. He just missed him.
And Page has been that guy in motion with those slant routes that have worked to his advantage. So Nagar will come on for the field goal. Has a 40-yarder today, a 26-yard attempt. Derek Green holding. Trying to lengthen this lead here in Philadelphia, and it's right down the middle here at the link, and it expands to 7 over the Temple Owls thanks to the field goal by Chris Nagar. He's 2 for 2. One of the reasons why SMU has retaken the lead is thanks to the play of Tyler Page. Not only is he getting it done with all-purpose yards, over 160 today, but he has 110 receiving yards, and Ken, he has accounted for 2 touchdowns as well.
Yeah, he's got an ability to get open, and not only does he get open, he's got good hands, and he's able to make defenders miss. And right there you see the first touchdown with about 24 yards, and here's a little slant over the middle. He also comes back with a 44-yard scamper into the end zone, and Tyler Page has been a big part of the SMU offense this afternoon.
He played a lot last year. He didn't have a touchdown at all receiving. Had 2 touchdowns back in 2018, the first 2 touchdowns of 2020 today. Nagar to kick off. And again, everyone has been in the end zone. He has that strong leg, as Ken has dissected throughout the broadcast, and Temple will get it with the touchback at around the 25-yard line. So what does Temple need to do more efficiently on the offensive side, like they were accomplishing in half number 1 here in the third quarter?
Well, number 1, it was a good job of keeping them out of the end zone, holding them to a field goal, and this makes this a 1-score game. As far as the offense is concerned, I would assume there's going back with Real Mitchell that surprises me a little bit. You know, Beatty in the first half had a 206 passing rating as a quarterback. I thought they would have given him at least a shot here on the second series.
Carl Taylor is in the secondary playing his first game, a freshman from Midland, Texas. Played earlier today. He's back in there near 22 in white. Mitchell again on the read option. Delano Robinson, one of their tougher players, the linebacking core, comes up with the stop. Just a 2-yard gain for Mitchell. So how have you liked it, Ken, with Beatty as opposed to Mitchell? Obviously 2 different quarterback styles.
Yeah, I mean, I guess from a defensive standpoint, it's hard to prepare for 2 divergent styles. Me personally, I think the running quarterback option limits you because you're going to stack the box and play run and not pass. I think in this instance, I'd give Beatty another shot to get in there and see if he can throw the ball down the field.
It's 2nd and 8. There was movement up front with C.J. Perez, the center. Here's the call.
Snap infraction. Offense number 62. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
So if you're going to beat a top 20 program, you can't make silly mistakes, and that's the second false start penalty in this half for Temple, and a couple of special teams miscues, and they've got to tighten up if they want to beat SMU this afternoon.
They're going to hurry Reams to the top. And remember, C.J. Perez comes in as a grad transfer from Northern. They needed a guy to replace Matt Hennessy. Almost botched there, but Mitchell has it and throws and trying to find Reams to make his first catch, and he will of the season in his career at the 31-yard line as Johnson comes up with the stop for the Mustangs.
Good job by Mitchell. He finds this wide open receiver on the sideline in a one-on-one coverage and is able to deliver a good ball. And that's going to be really important for the success of Real Mitchell, to at least have defenses guard against him throwing the ball.
Wiley and McBride come on. Haley comes off. Mack stays in the game for Temple at the top of your screen, number 1 in red. 3rd and 4, big play again here for Mitchell. Getting the protection of play action, is going to throw one of the rare times it has Jaden Blue. That's a big play to the 43-yard line, just past Callaway for a first down for Temple in the gain of 12.
Very good, letting the play develop. He stays in the pocket there. He goes through a progression. He finds an open receiver and is able to move the chains.
That's just his 4th completion of the game. He's 4 of 6. Blue's now in the slot for Temple, down by 7. Now he's in motion, and they fake it to him. Mitchell going to throw for the 2nd consecutive play, lofting it for Mack, and he can't come up with it. It was Shevin Callaway with 2 hands to stuff it down to the grass.
Dangerous throw there. Mack really wasn't open. There was 2 or 3 defenders right in the area that could have been intercepted. Luckily, they knocked it to the ground for Temple and gives them a 2nd down close to midfield. Take a look. You can see double coverage there. Would have been a perfect ball to complete that pass.
Mack has only 1 catch for 21 yards. Comes into the game with 3 touchdowns. 2nd and 10 from their own 43 for the Owls, looking for their 2nd win this year. Mitchell, a little bit of miscommunication it seemed with Ruley, trying to dart past 1 and get up towards midfield. He'll just be shy of the Eagles logo here at Lincoln Financial Field, also home of the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll bring up a 3rd and 5 for Temple. Mitchell was on the Netflix series QB1 Beyond the Lights, an actor just like his mom and dad, but playing himself, of course. In motion is Picozzi. Mitchell fakes it, was looking for Mack, but that was tipped right at the line. McBride, that was almost a touchdown. If you go back and watch, Mack had it on a post that could have been for 6, but Richard McBride says no.
Yeah, McBride doesn't bite on that fake. Real Mitchell does a little dip there. Not sure who he was trying to fool, but McBride was all over that play.
Here it is again.
Take a look. He dips down. It's almost like he's trying to hide from the pass rush. I'm not sure what that was going to accomplish, but it wasn't successful.
That was Mack, who was on the backside of that had an opportunity. Here's a 4th and 4. Temple's going for it. It's Dump looking for Mack. He has it. This time it has the first down. It's a gain of 5. That he beats Armani Johnson, and that will move the sticks for Temple on 4th down.
Interesting call, 4th down. You think your 1-score game, you might want to punt the football, but Rod Carey knows that he's going to have to gamble a little bit to knock off a top 20 team like the Mustangs, and he pulls it off there.
Tavir Levelston provided the pressure out of DeSoto, Texas. Haley comes off, McBride back on. The secondary is Cromartie and Callaway for SMU in white, up by 7, 5:12 to go. Mitchell, the QB keeper, past Robinson across the 40-yard line and down to the 38 of Temple. Mitchell seeing some holes there. Terrence Newman is playing that nose tackle along with Junior Aho, who's had some great time for SMU with 2 sacks. They're going out wide again. It's Fox getting some time and past the 30-yard line for the Owls.
Fox getting some action here really for the first time this season. A little slip screen to the left, making somebody miss, and moves the chains again for the Owls. Good drive so far.
Crosley in the secondary as one of their corners just have to go to the opposite side of the field to Mark Fox. Mitchell again on the read option, spins past one. Trying to advance up to the 25-yard line for Real Mitchell. Again, Beatty started this game. First play of the game, a 75-yard touchdown pass to Randall Jones. Good catch and run by Jones. But now it's Mitchell, and the game plan all along was to switch both quarterbacks moving forward with Anthony Russo, their number one QB, out for the second game due to a shoulder injury. So you're looking at Real Mitchell from California, a transfer from Iowa State, again on the shovel, looking for blue. They've done this a few times today. Sidesteps the man across the 20 and brought down by McBride near the 15-yard line and to the 10.
Watch this juke move by Jaden Blue on the sideline. I think he's going out of bounds. He cuts it back in. That's a big-time play. He gains about 7 or 8 extra yards.
Yeah, he's been huge on the jet sweeps, bubble screens this year. Coaching staff says he's a little bit quicker than Mac, Jaden Blue. And it's 1st and goal for Temple now. Rulli in motion. It's Mitchell on the read option. He's going to keep it himself and for no gain. No surprise, Cromartie and Delano Robinson coming up with the stop. Robinson's been a key player all season long. He leads this team in tackles under the direction of their DC, Kevin Kane, for SMU.
Now, if you recall, Mitchell's had the offense the entire second half. Remember, Beatty got nicked a little bit there in the first half. We'll have to see if there's a reason why he's not in the game, but right now, Mitchell's got a good drive going.
That's a great point. Rulli again on the read option. He's shut down inside the 10-yard line by Turner Cox, who plays that stang position. That's that hybrid linebacker position, along with Jimmy Phillips and Nelson Paul. Yeah, Terrence Newman was the one that made that huge stop on Beatty back in the second quarter. You're right on it. Mike Williams is going to come off. Junior Aho back in on the line defensively for the Mustangs. 3rd and goal here for the Owls, the 13th play of the drive, as we're under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. The redshirt sophomore Junior Smith out there as well. Read option here, but nothing doing again for Mitchell. It's Cox. Second consecutive play for him on that defensive line. And it looks like the field goal unit's going to come on for Rod Carey.
Again, keep in mind that Temple has had a little bit of problem with the kicking game.
Rory Bell is back on there at a 22-yard field goal, the lone score in the Tulane game. And for another attempt here. And Bell drills it home for Temple. And he makes it a 4-point game in Philadelphia. Ken, that was much needed points for the Owls.
Yeah, it was important for the Owls to establish themselves on offense. Not only does it help that they scored a field goal and cut the score, but they keep the potent SMU offense off the field.
Again, there was not a lot of time for competition due to COVID and no spring ball. Yes, they did have a little bit of fall camp, so Mobley and Bell couldn't really compete with each other the whole way through consistently, but coaching staff opted for the change. And we'll see on kickoffs what they'll do, because there's been 2 illegal kicks out of bounds by Bell today, and it seems, Ken, that he's going to stay back out there, though. Tomasi is back deep for SMU. See how the Mustangs respond here. They're still leading in the game, up by 4, trying to get their 7th win, in keeping pace with Cincinnati and also Tulsa this year. A couple late substitutions on special teams for the Owls. Kyle Dobbins, backup running back, coming in late. There's Massey, who has a lot of potential. It's a backup corner. Gets a lot of time on kickoff returns. Four-point game, 1:14 to go. Bell in the direction of Massey, and that's a fair catch. That was a little bit inexplicable at the 9-yard line.
Yeah.
He had a lot of real estate in front of him.
Well, he had some real estate, and also that kick might have gone out of bounds had he let it roll. So I'm not sure what a fair catch does for you there.
And nonetheless, we'll bring back on Buechele, who you've said had a much better second half for him. A lot of protection. from his offensive line, led by his center, Alon Ali. Also see Ben Sparks, the freshman from Norman, Oklahoma, getting time.
Yeah.
Jalen Thomas, 71, went down earlier in the game.
Dave, I stand corrected. That was actually a good play because the ball does come out to the 25. So a fair catch was obviously the right thing to do.
Okay, so the fair catch puts the ball at the 25 here for Buechele. Over to Page, trying to get past Quenku and company. We'll get some great yards after the catch by Page, staying in bounds. It's Quenku, the last one to bring him down. Jalen Ware was there to back him up.
It's funny that Page and Buechele, they just seem to have a rhythm going here today. They know what each other's going to do.
They're staying tempo with their OC, Garrett Riley. A lot of the calls coming from the sideline. A lot of his offense derives from his time as a player at Texas Tech. Of course, he is the younger brother of Oklahoma head coach Lincoln Riley, and another Temple player is down in the secondary. Looks like it's Braswell, who's had a good game.
Yeah, Braswell is one of the leaders on this Temple defense, and he's a guy that you don't want to lose. He's been fighting a couple nagging injuries coming into this game, and it looks like some kind of a lower leg or maybe a groin injury right there.
You know, Ken, this SMU team had 10 wins last year, went to a bowl game, lost to FAU in Boca Raton, Florida. This year they bring in Garrett Riley, had a great year at App State, won a championship with 13-1. But one of the reasons why Sonny Dykes brought Riley in here is not so much of the passing game. They were a terrific running team as well at App State.
They were, and one of the questions I asked Garrett Riley is, watching the Appalachian State program over the years, they have a reputation of playing fast, and I really didn't even know what that meant. He said, well, playing fast is speed, that's one component, but the other component about playing fast is playing with confidence. And that program, and wherever really Garrett Riley has been, is an up-tempo style of offense, but they play confidently, and when you can take the field expecting to win, it's usually 3/4 of the battle.
He had a running back named Evans who rushed for over 1,500 yards, one of the best running backs in the country, now brought here to SMU to lead the offense under Sonny Dykes, who is an offensive-minded coach as well. It's Levine on the carry, past Reed, and room to work it again. He flurries past Odom, and a first down there for Tyler Levine.
And Levine, nice little burst to the outside, had 26 yards rushing in the first half. Of course, SMU didn't do much at all on the ground in the first half, but that was a nice gainer there.
Yeah, no question. They're running it more effectively in the second half. Bentley's still out, the leading rusher of the conference. Read option again, Buechele, past one. Buechele on his feet, and room to run outside the numbers across the 30. Odom was trying to catch him there, and Shane Buechele with his wheels has another first down for the Mustangs.
You know, I noticed Buechele against Navy. He did a good job of running design runs, and right there, he's not afraid of it.
That's the end of the third quarter as Buechele and company are looking to pull this out in Philadelphia. They're up by 4 over the Temple Owls.
We were being called pussycats.
We'll remember that night in Tokyo.
Oh, look at you.
Hey!
Enormous.
All right, calm yourself.
I never picked the test team correctly. Remember? Yeah.
Start of the fourth quarter in Philadelphia with Ken Dunnick and our entire ESPN crew. Dave Leno on hand. As SMU is marching down the field up by 4. They have taken the lead here in the second half. It's Page in motion on 1st and 10 for Buechele. They fake, pocket collapsing. Buechele looking for Granson. He has it. Touchdown SMU. Kyle Granson has his first touchdown in the last 5 games.
Tremendous job of looking off the defender. A pump fake opens this up. You can see the fake to the outside. And the tight end Granson, who's having a whale of a game, scores another touchdown for SMU. But a good play design by Garrett Riley and a tremendous fake by the quarterback.
And it's the Gar on for the extra point here as we begin the fourth quarter, and he misses it. Inexplicable by him, and that's the 5th missed extra points But it's Granson extending this lead in Philadelphia. SMU, number 18 in the country, have been resilient. They lead by 10. Bouchel's third touchdown pass of the game. This time Granson, and that's touchdown number 3 of the season for Kylan.
We were being called pussycats.
We'll remember that night in Tokyo.
Oh, look at you.
Hey!
Enormous
All right, calm yourself.
I never picked the test team correctly. Yeah.
Kylan Granson just had a 24-yard TD catch, and Bouchel, under the direction of Garrett Riley, the offensive coordinator you see there, has his team up by 10 over Temple. Remember, at the half, Temple led 13-10. So Nagar will kick off here to the Owls. Still plenty of time here for Temple. Blue and Reams are back. It will be a touchback again. Nagar has looked really strong. I want to talk you back to the end of the first half on the hit on Beatty. He has been out of the game since, and here's this hit that has brought him sidelined throughout this one.
You can see a little elbow there at the end. Not sure if it was intentional. I'm assuming that it wasn't, but he was slow in getting up. He is not on the sideline. He might have got dinged a little bit, and he has been ruled out for the rest of the game. So we had questioned the coaching about why Real Mitchell was taking all the snaps. Obviously, that's the reason why.
Also, Randall Jones out for the rest of the game. The same with their long snapper, Ron Gaines. Anthony Russo, if you could believe it, is now dressed in case of an emergency. Remember, he's the #1 QB for Temple, been mired by a shoulder injury. Mitchell floats in the air looking for Blue, trying to beat Denbo, and Blue can't come up with the catch.
Pretty well thrown ball there by Mitchell, who shows off some unexpected arm strength. He's not known to be a passer, but again, he's a transfer from Iowa State, so you know he's got some skills. And right there, Blue is just not able to come down with the football. Pretty well thrown, but it falls incomplete.
You mentioned coming from ISU, and remember, he just joined this Temple team in July. Again, option, it's Mitchell right up the gut, past Denbo, and almost into the umpire, but it's a strong run once more by Mitchell. So we see it on the ground, but we also see that blossoming passing game that not a lot of people talk about on the scout. Stevens comes up with a stop for SMU. We'll set up a 3rd and 2.
Yeah, when you're playing a top 20 team, you got to keep them off guard, and even though they realize that Real Mitchell is more of a runner, they've got to keep him honest by throwing a pass every once in a while.
They still have Rulli in the game for Temple on 3rd and short. Blue in motion. It's a give to Rulli, trying to get 2 yards, and gets the help by Vincent Picosi. His offensive lineman, Kenny, might be a half a yard short, though.
Yeah, right there. He's got to run the ball more north and south when you've got a short way to go, and this little jump cut to the outside that he wasn't able to get the first down. I think if he goes straight ahead, he might have gotten it.
Need a pickup here if you're Temple on 4th and 1. Rulli again is the back. Mitchell, keep an eye on him as far as a read option, working with his center, Perez. And it looks like we're getting a timeout from Temple. So Mike Urebovich, the offensive coordinator, wants to talk this over.
Temple takes their first charge timeout of the half.
All right, on the timeout, we'll step aside as well as this Temple team. Big decision to make. You know they're going to go for it here, down by 10. Come on back with us.
We were being called pussycats.
We'll remember that night in Tokyo.
Oh, look at you.
Hey!
Enormous
All right, calm yourself.
I never picked the test team correctly. Yeah.
Fourth quarter just underway in Philadelphia. Dave Little, Ken Dunnick, our entire crew. SMU has outscored Temple 13-3 in the second half. Now they have 103 rushing yards in the game. Rulli is 13 for 50 yards rushing, and it's a big 4th and 1 out of the timeout. Mitchell, read option, going to keep it himself with a fake for Blue, and I think they have him. McBride was there with the stop for SMU, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. You see Robinson there, but the play was obviously ruled dead. It will be SMU ball as Temple Ken failed to come up with the 4th down conversion.
Yeah, they go with motion, and what I'd like to see is a wham block there, creating some space for the quarterback, but SMU knows a short run is coming, and the Temple offensive line just can't get a push.
McBride again, and Newman almost stripped it out. It's Terrence Newman for the Mustangs. They rotate again, a lot of players on that defensive personnel. So we'll bring back all the offense here for SMU. And Buechele has thrown 3 touchdowns today. The last was to Granson. Levine is in the backfield again. No Bentley. Play action here for Buechele. And we'll find Granson again across the 30. Makes one man miss. Still on his feet. Gets a block from Page to the 10. And dragged down at the 8-yard line.
Well, you talk about an athletic tight end. Kylan Granson just making people miss. Rod Carey talked about 2 players he was afraid of in this game, the tight end and the nose tackle for Temple. I mean, the Elijah Chapman, who we haven't called too much today, those are the 2 players he recognized.
Levine trying to get his first touchdown, stopped by the freshman Alex Odom. Granson, 6 catches, 149 yards, and a touchdown today. He has 3 touchdowns this year. And a 2nd and goal for SMU, trying to add on more. A top 20 team from the American. It's Levine on the option play again, left side of the line, and he storms in for another touchdown. Tyler Levine, he has his 3rd of the season.
Well, that's an old bow your neck and run the defender over into the end zone for the score. Watch the will here. Just absolutely pace the defender, and Tyler Levine is able to get into the end zone. SMU starting to pull away.
And that is 4 consecutive scores for SMU since the 2nd quarter after the Nagar field goal. And his extra point is through, and it's all Mustangs here in Philadelphia. They have now outscored Temple 20-3 in the 2nd half. It's Levine, first rushing touchdown of the day for the Mustangs. They're up 33-16 over Temple.
We were being called pussycats.
We'll remember that night in Tokyo.
Oh, look at you.
Hey!
Enormous
All
in as
right,
well.
calm yourself.
I never picked the test team correctly. Yeah.
Welcome back to Philadelphia. Tyler Levine has just lengthened this lead to 17 over Temple with Ken Dunnick, Dave Leto on the call. It's Temple's 2nd home game of the year. Had a great start to this game, but 2nd half answers by the 18th ranked program in the country, and SMU led by Sonny Dykes. Gar will kick it away. They've all been touchbacks, and there's another one for SMU on special teams. In fact, their kickoff coverage does lead the American Conference. But Ken, let's go back to that touchdown there by Levine, who bulldozered Kobe Wilson.
Yeah, Kobe Wilson, 5'11", 210 against Tyler Levine, 5'11", 220. And right there, the 220 wins. Levine just rolls him over. Great effort to get into the end zone, giving a cushion to SMU.
Again, this Temple team is playing a lot of younger players. In fact, if you look at their prior games, the leading tackler from all their games hasn't been able to suit up the following game. Just astonishing that the coaching staff had 38 players out in the last game against Tulane, and the same result here, missing some key players on both sides of the ball for Temple. Mitchell still in the game. Again, Beatty is out due to injury. Go outside looking for Mack. The 2 weren't on the same page. Mack went in, the pass was out inside the numbers. Crosley was there on the coverage.
Think about that, Dave. You're missing 38 players. Now, most Division I schools have 85 scholarships, I believe. So you're missing over a third of your team due to injury and COVID. I mean, it's such a challenging time for coaches.
This Temple team has had a winning record since 2013. Think about that. Tested their consistency this year, though. It's been nothing but inconsistency due to the pandemic and the lack of practice time. Of course, it's Mitchell, the QB keeper. It's Dobbins, who's still in the game in the backfield.
Yeah, good effort here by Mitchell. Actually spins once and then spins away again. Great effort by the Temple quarterback.
Again, Anthony Russo, the #1 QB, not available for the 2nd straight game, is dressed in an emergency situation if they need to go to him. 3rd and 2 for the Owls, 12 minutes to go in regulation. Dobbins in motion, screenplay here, not on the same page as Jarman ran into Cadis Reams, and Reams couldn't get it on the screen, and it will be 4th and 2 now.
Yeah, that was really well defended by number 2 Cam Jones, who saw that play coming. Temple just wasn't able to fake it enough to draw the defense away, and now they've got to punt the football.
Adam Barry will come back in the punt for Tyler Page. He catches 123 yards and 2 touchdowns. All-purpose yards over 150 as well in the game. There's Barry, a low kick, and Page will navigate to his right. And it's down by Temple inside the 20-yard line. So back on the field is Shane Buechele and this SMU team. Was had an answer for Temple moving forward, and for a top 20 team, you have 2 top 25 teams representing the American Conference. Cincinnati, who has just done great under Luke Fickell, held Memphis, another terrific team, to just 5 rushing yards, beat this SMU team, but it seems like championship conversation in this conference, you got to put SMU in there.
I think so. I mean, offensively, when you talk about, and you can see that now Buechele leads the nation in passing yardages. Imagine what this offense would be with the 2 players that they're missing on offense that got injured against Memphis, wide receiver Roberson and TJ McDaniel running back.
Yeah, those are great points. Again, it's Page missing another man miss in Banks. Across the 25 to the 26-yard line, you can see the speed and the precision that Tyler Page has. George Reed comes up with the stop in the end. You know, last year is a guy in Page that just had 1 start. We mentioned didn't score last year. It's Bentley, has been quiet today, trying to beat Tyler towards the sideline. And the conference's leading rusher gets shoved out of bounds, but that's the biggest play from scrimmage from Ulysses Bentley today.
No question, Bentley finally breaks out. If you recall, we mentioned that SMU only had 33 yards rushing in the first half. Well, Bentley far outseeds that amount of yardage right there with a really good run. Ulysses Bentley, who played so well last week against Navy, finally breaks loose against the Temple defense.
They have 147 rush yards to Temple's 110. Buechele again. Bentley read option met immediately by Archibong, the grad student. They say is one of the best hands on the team defensively, a preseason All-American player in the conference. Bentley's going to come out Page as well, along with McIntyre on a flurry of offensive changes.
Now, if you're SMU, you've got a sizable lead in the 4th quarter. You're not going to see any rushing up to the line of scrimmage anymore to keep Temple off balance. They just are going to be very happy to grind it out here on the ground, wind the clock. Now, they're in an empty back set here, which is interesting.
Yeah, Levine's at the bottom of your screen. They tried this earlier today. It's a QB keeper the whole way for Buechele, but now opts to throw it. And will get his man. It's Kiki Burns that just makes his 2nd catch of the season. The redshirt freshman delivers.
One of the nice things about having a lead late in the game is you can give some of these young players an opportunity to play.
And now he's going to come off. Wiggins is back on. Bentley also replacing Levine. 3rd and 7. Again, another stop for Temple is needed with under 10 minutes to go. Down by 17. Temple's got 8 in the box defensively. Page in motion on 3rd and 7 for the Mustangs. Buechele right over the middle, and the pass complete to Rice, and he has real estate in front of them. Another touchdown for Rashee Rice this season, his 1st of the game and 5th of the year, a 33-yard touchdown.
Another tremendous play designed by Garrett Riley and this offensive staff for SMU. You can see Buechele just buying his time. The receiver comes wide open over the middle. I'm not sure if that was a busted coverage. There's no way a receiver should run free like that, but SMU gets it, another score out of it.
Nagar on for the extra point to try to continue this onslaught now in Philadelphia that we're seeing, and it's a 40 spot for number 18 SMU over Temple. Shane Buechele just threw his 4th touchdown pass in this game. We showed you the top-ranked passer now in the nation. A good look here over the middle to Rice. And he has it for the SMU Mustangs.
We were being called pussycats.
We'll remember that night in Tokyo.
Oh, look at you.
Hey!
Enormous
All right, calm yourself.
I never picked the test team correctly. Yeah.
This is the 7th nationally ranked total offense team in the nation. Here's the reason why: a monstrous second half. They're up big, 40-16 over Temple. Nagar will kick off here to the Owls. Temple at one point had the 13-10 lead on a good start that slowed down SMU, definitely on the rushing end. Blue and Reams are back, and it's another touchback here caused by the strong leg of Nagar. But how about the day of Shane Buechele, Ken? He has 4 touchdowns for 355 yards. Had a big one to start the game to Tyler Page.
Yeah, after a relatively slow start, for Buechele, he's really come on strong here in the second half. Just a combination of too many weapons, too much talent. The Temple defense is a little bit undermanned with injuries and illness, and SMU took a while to get it going, but they sure got it clicking on all cylinders now.
And Buechele finding a flurry of players today. Really strong in this second half. Page has a couple, Granson as well. Dobbins again with a huge opportunity to get some more playing time. We haven't seen Edward Sadie. Tavon Rulli again getting the bulk of the carries for Temple, with Ramon Davis announcing on Wednesday that he transferred out of the program. As a native of San Francisco, played some prep ball as well on the East Coast, but not with the program, so adjustments having to be made by the running back coach Gabe Infante for Real Mitchell with 8:40 to go. Blue looking for Rulli again. It was pressure applied by Mike Williams. McBride coming up again with the stop. He's looked really good this afternoon. Richard McBride along with Delano Robinson.
Well, you might wonder, if you're a Temple fan, why is Rod Carey running the football down 40-16? He's trying to make a statement. He's trying to toughen up his team. He knows he's probably not going to win this game, and he wants to make sure that players get game experience and some toughness by running the football.
Tavon Rulli back in the game for Mitchell on 3rd and 10. Mitchell's going to throw, looking for Blue, and the pass is incomplete. Chase Cromartie there for the stop and the pass breakup for the Mustangs.
Yeah, really nice play by Cromartie. Good nose for the football, knocks that pass away, and Temple's got to give it up. One thing about Real Mitchell, he's gaining some valuable game experience, and until Russo comes back, he's more than likely going to be the guy.
Barry is on to punt here. Good hang time this time. He's really improved throughout this season, despite Temple looking like they're going to fall to 1-4. It's Page, who's had a big game in all areas of the field. Pass to McCady towards midfield again for Tyler Page. Fumbled the football here, Temple. Archibald picked it up there. Let's see what the officials call.
The ruling on the field is that the runner stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, he was
prior
out,
to
so
the
we'll
ball
stay
coming
SMU
loose.
ball.
First down, SMU.
Take a look. Does he step out of bounds? Right
there,
and
yep.
then the fumble, unfortunate for Temple. But how about Temple playing Archibong on their punting team, right? 6'6", 300. How'd you like to see that coming at you full speed?
Yeah, and we mentioned that his hands are very impressive defensively and what he can cause just right up the gut in the A-gap specifically for Temple. But Page was definitely out of bounds. Great shot by our crew. It's Buechele. It's Tamarick Williams coming in, and Williams off to the races, past Odom, and Tamarick Williams has his 2nd touchdown of the season, coming in relief for Bentley and Levine. A 49-yard scamper to the house.
Well, unfortunately for the Owls, they just got worn down here. We've talked about how many options, how many weapons this SMU offense has, and they held it together for a while, but this second half has been an absolute nightmare.
And they are young at the running back position. There's no upperclassmen, in fact. Williams a sophomore, Levine a sophomore, Bentley, the conference's leading rusher coming into the game, a redshirt freshman. Nagar on for the extra point, and it's through, and it's an SMU rout at 47-16 over Temple. But it's a big day by Shane Buechele, and he's today's Air Force Reserve Player of the Game. Kenny has 4 touchdowns in this one over Temple. Tyler Page got the first one in the game. He's thrown 24 of 35 for 355 yards. Page has collected 2 touchdowns as well for Temple. Also big throughout the day was Kylan Granson makes this catch over Griffin. Granson, 6 catches, 149 yards and a touchdown. And the last to Rashee Rice, who stepped in big for Reggie Robertson Jr., who's out for the rest of the year. So Blue and Reams are back. Deep to receive this kickoff by Nagar. A fine afternoon by Buechele, much stronger, of course, as the game went along. And we'll see again the Temple offense come back onto the field with 7:32 to go.
Not sure if I've ever seen a more consistent kickoff specialist than Chris Nagar. Every ball is a touchback.
So let's see what personnel that Mikey Removich, you see there in the middle. He's the offensive coordinator, did a great job at Northern to give some guys some more playing time here moving forward and bring in some of the 2s and 3s. Now a lot of that, of course, we've been saying all broadcast long, due to injuries. As a result, the redshirt sophomore Jordan Smith lines up at the top of your screen, 19 in red for Temple. Mitchell, of course, still in the game. It's Ruley. Gets a couple. He's a powerful runner. They said that he had a different wiggle than Ramon Davis had. Of course, Davis now transferring out of the program. They want to see better production with pass protection from their backs at Temple moving forward. Of course, you know, guys like Bernard Pierce come to mind, Temple running backs that have made it to the NFL. Ruley has a touchdown today, 14 carries for 52 yards to be exact. Ruley again, read option. He has it across the 40-yard line and advances to the 42. He met by Carl Taylor, the freshman DB, getting time for SMU.
Ruley here stacking up the yards. Goes over the 60-yard mark for this game, averaging around 4 yards a carry. Not a bad performance.
That player is down, though, for the Mustangs. Causes a stoppage of play. Looks like it was Holloway that's down, Brian Holloway. Here's the difference throughout this game. How about Temple in the first quarter? They were steamrolling, right? And then from the second quarter on, it was all SMU in particular, as you see in the second half, just dominating through the air and also getting some yardage on the ground.
Well, we talked about when you're trying to knock off a top 20 team, you really need to play close to a perfect game. And the way they started the second half with the kickoff out of bounds, the poor punt, the false start penalties, the little mistakes, and you can't make those against a quality football team. And quite frankly, Temple's just kind of falling apart here.
This SMU team ranked at 18. The highest they were ever ranked in the AP poll was at 1450 under the direction of Sonny Dykes and what he's bringing to this SMU program. On the hilltop the last 3 years, a lot of SMU fans just really encouraged with the progress this program has made, stemming from last year going 10-3, going to the bowl game, and then coming into this year obviously with COVID. It's Fox trying to get to midfield and still on his feet. Haley will just shove him out. Let's see where they mark him closer to midfield, is where he stepped out at the 48 to be exact for SMU. But Devon Fox got time on special teams and delivering amid Sonny Dykes and the coaching staff of SMU.
A young player getting a chance to play. I believe that's his 4th reception of the game.
Another read option for Mitchell. Between the hashes again. And what's different from other programs in this SMU team, if you're not familiar with just coming into our broadcast here, is just the amount of depth the weapons, the versatility that they have players, even with which you and I discussed at the top of the broadcast. You lose a guy in Reggie Robertson and TJ McDaniel, but others kind of stepped up throughout the season as they're going to improve to 7-1. 4-1 in the conference, too.
It's amazing. They're loaded on offense, and look, they bring in fresh defensive players almost every other down. They're a very, very deep football team.
Another read option for Mitchell, a spin move on Helly. We've seen that a couple times today to the 40.
Be interested to see when the SMU offense comes back on the field. If they stay with Shane Buechele, I would assume they'll take him out to lessen the risk of injury, and their backup quarterback is now Derek Green. If that Green name sounds familiar, he's the son of ex-NFL quarterback Trent Green.
Yeah, you can see him with a hand pound to Garrett Riley, the offensive coordinator. I give credit to both of them on the day that they've had here in Philadelphia. They are unbeaten on the road, will improve to 4-0 away from Dallas. Across the 40-yard line again, it's Edward Sadie for the first time this afternoon, the redshirt freshman.
Well, you see Derek Green kind of favors the old man, doesn't he?
Yeah. Seems like he might get some time from Leawood, Kansas, and Rockhurst High School. Played in 3 games last year, hasn't completed a pass this go around, obviously due to the production and leadership of Buechele. Again, they stick with Sadie, met by Taylor and also Delano Robinson. It's going to be a first down for the Owls.
The backup quarterback had been Terrence Gibson for SMU. He was actually put in for a series against Navy. He fumbled the football, was taken back out of the game, and has actually entered into the transfer portal this week.
It's definitely a big talking point, right? The transfer portal these days, especially the grad transfers. When they have eligibility and then just wanting to play another year somewhere else, like Erdman, for example, of Temple. As the Owls get to the 31-yard line, Robinson again with the stop, along with Nelson Paul providing the pressure. It's Neely making the run for Temple, getting his first touch in the backfield too. So again, a lot of the reserves coming on at this point in the game. Neely from Enola, Pennsylvania to be exact, across the 30 and down to the 25-yard line. It's Ruley. Onassis Neely is 6 foot, 225 pounds. He's a redshirt freshman. He was the one that had that last run from East Pennsboro High School. First career game this year was at Memphis, part of the 2019 recruiting class by Rod Carey and his staff. Remember, a lot of these players are from prior staffs recruiting. So Neely stays in the game. He's at the right of Mitchell, going to throw again, and it's high of Reams as intended target at the 10. Massey was the closest player to him.
Yeah, that was a ball that has to be completed. The receiver was wide open in the sideline. Mitchell's got to deliver that ball on target.
Reams, though, stays in the game for Temple. We've got to give credit to the coaching staff working these guys in with what Temple has had to deal with. As we mentioned with the Tulane game, nearly 40 players out. A lot of their star players on both sides of the ball are out today. Mitchell out wide again. It's Fox trying to get to the 20. SMU's J.C. Rispress, backup linebacker, comes up with the stop for the Mustangs. He backs up McBride and Haley. 1:45 to go on 3rd and 4 for Temple. Max out of the game. Sadie is now the running back to the right hip of Mitchell for the Owls. It's going to be Sadie on the read option across the 20. Down inside the 15-yard line again. Preston Ellison, a backup linebacker, comes up with the stop for the Mustangs. Do have a player down right now. Looks like it's Massey. He returns kicks as well for this SMU team. A guy that they're relying on backing up Armani Johnson is one of their corners. And you hate to see this with 1:25 to go.
Talk about young players getting an opportunity. Devon Fox caught 5 passes today, hasn't had a reception the entire year. And these types of things help you down the line. It's a tough pill to swallow, I know, especially after playing competitively in the first half. Temple had high hopes that they could possibly win this game, but it's also important to get some of these young players some seasoning.
Sonny Dykes and his team is going to improve to 7-1, 4-1. He's coming out here with Massey down. This is concerning for him because they like what Massey can bring to the program from Katy, Texas. He's a true freshman on this team for Sonny Dykes. And again, as Ken and I keep mentioning, they rotate a lot of players from all sides. You can see a couple of the players, Johnson and company, along with Crosley to the right of your screen, kneeling right now. So our thoughts, of course, passed along to Massey. You know, much is talked, Ken, about the offensive prowess of this SMU team. I think defensively they can go toe-to-toe with amongst the other conference teams moving forward too.
Oh, absolutely. You talk about a guy like Harrison Lovelace, 6'3", 291, defensive tackle. Mentioned Elijah Chapman briefly in the opener, but the way they're able to roll players through and keep them fresh, and not only does that help give players experience, but it also gives them energy to play at a high level for the entire game. One of Temple's problems is they're so thin at some positions, these guys actually get worn out. And they were trying to have them play special teams before. They had to back off that a little bit because some of the Temple players, especially defensively, were just spending too much time on the field. Good to see this young man getting up.
Absolutely good to see him walking off. He's playing a lot this year at 5'11", 185 from Katy, Texas. Also played his high school ball at Katy High School.
Anytime a true freshman gets significant playing time at a program like SMU, you know he's a bona fide player.
You know, it's a team that lost some key guys up top, and Patrick Nelson, Rodney Clemens, Delonte Scott, 16th in the nation in tackles for loss. So they lost a little bit at the front and also the back end defensively. 1st and 10 here for Mitchell. Going to throw, looking for the touchdown here to Sadie. Can he stay in bounds? No. And we'll bring up a 2nd and 10 with 1:09 to go. Good effort nonetheless.
That was pretty close. It looked like Sadie made an effort to get his toe down. He thought he scored. And not sure if we have another look at it, but not sure if the replay official will buzz it this late in the game in a blowout.
Here's a look by our great crew.
Nope, his left foot came out of bounds before the right foot drug, so that's the proper call.
Also, Griffin Sestilli is the backup center that's in the game as well, working with Mitchell now. As Temple jets up to the 10-yard line again with Sadie. David Nagugu is also in at right tackle, so a lot of the twos, if you will, on the offensive line are in there. 3rd and 7 for Temple. Trying to come up with a score here. Mitchell's going to reverse it and has his man for a Temple touchdown. It's Jarman. Has his first touchdown of the season. In fact, it's his first touchdown since last year in the opener against Bucknell.
Pretty good play design here. Temple playing out the string, not giving up, still trying to score, and a little misdirection. Throw back to the tight end, crossing the field, and Jarman gets a touchdown.
Bell on for the extra point. That's through for Temple. Good to see the Owls get some points here after this SMU round. And how about Mitchell with his first touchdown?
Take a look, rolling out right. The tight end crosses the entire field, is not picked up by the defensive back. Good play design there by Mike Uremovich, and Temple's able to add a touchdown, which will hopefully ease the pain from what was really not a very good second half.
We mentioned that that Massey was hurt from Katy, Texas. How about Katy High School, where he played his ball? Just saw its 75-game district win streak in Thursday. That lasted 12 years. Credit to Mike Shute, our statistician in the booth, with that.
That's good stuff,
Yeah.
Mike. Where do you come up with that? That's pretty good. I'll tell you, to be that dominant in Texas
Yes.
football,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah, that's a great note. The Rod Carey and his team will fall now to 1-4 on the season. Next up, they're at UCF's a tough game there against Dylan Gabriel, who's the quarterback for the Knights. Second now in the nation, passing only to Buechele that we've seen today. Another fair catch caught by Bentley. And that will advance the ball to the 25-yard line. And let's see, like you might have predicted, if Derek Green will come on to take the final snap or Buechele. We'll see.
Well, if he comes in now for a kneel down, this will be reminiscent of the playing time that I got in basketball at Memphis State. This is when they put me in the game, so I can relate.
And it's Green. It's going to get the touch and the kneel down here to end it.
How'd you play, son? Well, Dad, I got in, and I sealed the victory.
And how about this second half surge by SMU throughout this game? And Sonny Dykes' team will improve to 7-1 overall, 4-1 in the conference, as they'll take it big over Temple, 47-23.
Yeah, again, Temple showed some grit, showed some heart. It's a question of SMU just having too many weapons, and really their execution in the second half was excellent.
Buechele in the game had 4 touchdown passes. How about Page today with 2 touchdowns? Granson was also big. Give credit, though, for Temple. Made this a game in the first quarter up until the second quarter as well. They led at halftime 13-10, but then, of course, that changed thanks to that second half surge from SMU. They got it done with Buechele through the air, but also on the ground, too. In total, 549 yards of total offense today. 355 through the air for Buechele, accompanied with his 4 touchdowns. He went 24 of 35. Bentley had 79 yards, and what was the biggest production day out of him? We saw Levine with getting some more touches. He had a touchdown and 49 yards. Page had 2 touchdowns, Granson 1. Rice had 1 as well. Mitchell and Beatty each threw a touchdown in this game. Of course, Beatty, the first touchdown of the game, over to Randall Jones.
Well, Temple needs a little bit of rest, get their quarterback back, and hopefully they can finish out the season strong.
Well, that will do it today from Philadelphia. And a big game from SMU on the road, where they remain unblemished. For producer John Anderson, statistician Mike Shute, spotter Eric Hauser, Ken Dunnick, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Dave Leto saying so long from Philadelphia, where it's all SMU, 18th in the country, winning at 47-23 over Temple. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone.